Hello, and welcome back to another day of the WardiTV European League. We are on day 4, the second day of round 2. I'm going to be heading on into and getting up into some StarCraft here in the next few moments, which is going to be 6 best of 3s. Let's show you guys what we got going on today, and a little recap of games that happened yesterday as well in round 2. So let's scroll down and get all of these on screen. There we go, so you can see round 2 here. Yesterday, started off with Beyond 2-0 over Jumi. Then MaxPax did squeeze out the win over Mana Youth them, or really stormed through Christiana. Those were all between players who were 1-0 in the group so far, so they are now all 2-0. And then we had a bunch of matches with the 0-1 players. Unfortunately, Geralt, Art, and Hydra will fall to 0-2, while Young Yakov, Night Phoenix, and Nicorect will be at 1-1, still very much so in the running in this group. 5 best of 3s of Swiss get played. 3-2 typically is going to make you into the playoffs. That's give or take where we're going to end up at. So obviously being 1-1, still room to work with, work to be done, and obviously work to be done today. We've got some more 1-0 matches, as Hearthstone versus Shameless will come up a bit later, as well as Skillis versus Percival, Heromarine versus Goblin. And then in the 0-1 matches, I mean, obviously a very surprising presence here from Showtime. He lost to Mana. It was just a rough first round, as he plays BabyMarine, and then Sebastes plays Fant, and Scarlet plays against Mixu. So those are the 6 best of 3s we're seeing today. And then by the end of today, we should have round 3 fully announced in terms of what matches you can expect and who we're going to be watching and all the rest of it. So it's going to be very exciting and very fun. Hopefully you guys are ready to party, ready to play some StarCraft 2, ready to watch. I mean, you guys don't actually have to play, you guys just have to watch. But we are pretty much ready to get into it as well, I do believe. So, get this going. And we'll kick off into our first match of the day, which is going to be Showtime versus BabyMarine. Disclaimer, this was literally played 20 minutes ago. So this is a replay, but from 20 minutes ago, because right now there's a qualifier for the Fell Krakow event. So, BabyMarine wanted to participate in that, and hence we allowed him to play this match, like, you know, basically, literally start up like half an hour before the stream, basically. So, just unlucky timing. When I checked the Krakow qualified times, and the first one was at 5 p.m., so I really thought today was going to be at like 5 p.m. as well, and it wasn't. It was earlier in the day. So, unfortunately, we don't have much to talk on there. But what we do have is this PVT. Like I say, it's all good. We can get into it. They just started, like I said, a bit earlier, so we're just going to cast this first match from replays. Obviously, with the European League, you're asking 12 players to be here on every single day. It's obviously a lot of scheduling, so there are going to be some matches throughout this event which just get cast from replays. We try and make it pretty seamless, but we also try and make it very honest as well, as you have in the top right to start us off. The red Protoss player, this is going to be Showtime. Taking on the blue Terran in the bottom left corner of the map, we're going to have ourselves BabyMarine for opening game of this best of 3. Get this up and running as we see what the heck is going to be going on and what the guys are going to get up to, and just an idea of what's going on. Obviously, BabyMarine has a lot of hype around him. He really has had one of the roughest starts of the tournament. I mean, playing MaxPax round 1 into Showtime round 2 is absolutely, like, playing Showtime round 2 if you get a win is brutal enough. Losing into Showtime is even more brutal, though. Like, that is absolutely just tough going. There's no other way, really, to say it, honestly. So, yeah, that's pretty darn brutal. As I do have the setup coming through here. We get ourselves settled in. We just have the probe heading up to the high ground. A little bit of a look to see what's going on as we check. Yeah, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Probe moving around, SCV coming up. We get settled in for the early few moments here, as the Nexus and the Cybercore will come into play. We get a pylon added in as well. We just see the CC and the orbital command continue to be brought up as well. So a little bit of building. It's going to have the probe moving across over to the sides here for a few moments, and we'll see what the styles are going to be. Like I say, BabyMarine hot off that Home Story Cup performance 1 week ago. He was unfortunately losing to Ryung this time last week in the round of 8, but making it to the round of 8 alone was pretty impressive showing. And he actually had some good openings against Ryung. He had some opportunities, but I think that's a scenario where experience kind of killed him. So hopefully, you know, a little bit of a bump in his career, and maybe some excitement to come from there for the future as well. As this one adept shades out into the center of the map, it comes straight across Factory, reactor, command center continue to come up and online. We had a refinery on as well. Twilight Council building, the next is about to finish. And that adept is going to go shading its way out down to the bottom left corner. And we have the CC and the SCV coming online as well, so continue to bring that up as we get the adept over here. Going to get into that natural. We are going to be seeing this SCV going down. That's going to be a dead SCV then, so the CC gets delayed at the last second. That's annoying because it's a significant delay for what is so close to being done, because you can't really get rid of this adept until the Hellions pop out, so you've got quite a while where you're just sitting with that command center that could be morphing into an orbital already, or really just doing anything else. It really is a little bit of a shame early on, as CC will finish up, so that will complete the blink and the warp gate continuing through. 2 Widow Mines now on the way out from the factory, and the adept heading to the top side of the map, as well as it pulls towards the upper right. For the moment, a couple of Hellions still joining up together. And obviously the Widow Mines coming out too, so BabyMarine a little bit slowed down in those early stages. We can get ourselves back on track a little bit right here, and go from there. So see the Robo and the Gateway dropping down over here. Again, the Blink coming through, the Barracks on the way, Hellion, Widow Mine, Tech Lab. A bit of everything still being brought online for the moment, so just seeing all of that coming up. As we do have ourselves the Medevac making its way out onto the map for Widow Mines. We're going to go journeying across to the upper right side. Again, the Prism coming through, the Stalker and the Blink all coming up, so we are going to have preparation made from Showtime in a pretty standard way in the early stages. It's going to be seeing that boost to that upper right side, trying to get in position. See what we can do. There's a couple of Stalkers that have to peel back for a moment or so. The Banshee's on the way behind this from BabyMarine, who obviously looks for, honestly, Widow Mine drop into the Hellions. This is very akin to what Thermal did yesterday against Christiana. To great effect, and I think Showtime just has so many units, though. These Widow Mines are not going to scare these units out of the way, even if they get in. Only 2 Hellions hit the mineral line. This was kind of a chaotic moment, but that was really not that much damage dealt by these Hellions, all said and done. That was 1 probe. 3 Stalkers died, but this was the entire cleanup on a significant portion of the Terran army. And the problem is with this build, we saw yesterday, Thermal had a really successful time with this build, but the counterattack from the Protoss is brutal. Like, you barely have anything to hold on with, and if you don't do much with this attack, and then you've got to try and hold on, I think that's going to be even rougher. Now, we did have 1 Banshee made, but that's going across the map. A Raven behind this. Bunker building up. There's a tank in the main base, but that's the question mark. Do we have enough to really defend against Showtime here? I actually think the setup's looking okay. As the Stalkers step forward, they will just try and trade with some SCVs here. There's no tank firing on them. They can quite easily trade onto the bunker and target down some of those SCVs. A few Stalkers warping in as well, so Showtime really has the numbers up at the front. Again, a few of those Marines going down, SCVs getting jabbed at. Tank shots firing, and the Stalkers do end up being pushed away there, so they're going to have to relocate around that right-hand side, potentially look for the jump into the main base from there. The Observer gets knocked down by the few Marines too. Another tank looking for a siege up. These Stalkers are ready to hop into this main base, so in they go. 1 Stalker going to lift back into the Prism, and the Barracks moves over to the Tech Lab. The Banshee came through and actually got a couple of probe kills already. The Stalker gets there, the Banshee gets pushed away. Oh, what's up, Lex470? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 35-month resub on the Prime. Appreciate it. I think we actually had a gift sub at the start of the day as well from Kybra. Thank you, Kybra, gifting us sub out to Nanoflower. Thank you for the support early, guys. We appreciate it, as we do have the Stalkers into the back of this mineral line, so Showtime's not going to give him the pressure. He's got the Prism. He can put 4 Stalkers in said Prism, and he can start swinging away at SCV after SCV. So damage being done already. Now we're going to have ourselves some shots onto the reactor there, get a cancel up on that factory's reactor, and the Prism just going to back away over to the sides for a few moments. Stimpack Combat Shield +1 all building up, the extra Marauders building through, +1 attack and charge on the Protoss side of things. Robo Bay coming online as well, so bringing all of that up as the Prism gets another warp in of Zealots already underway. Water turrets across the map are doing some good work, so at least BabyMarine has some presence out over there. The problem is that Showtime does not need to attack in to be in a good position here. He's got an 11 worker lead, and he can just sit here and just stop the Terran from moving out onto the map. Obviously, Stim Combat and +1 are finishing soon. But yeah, he's just, opportunity here perhaps if you want to try and make a dive on the Tech Labs. I think it's too well protected, honestly. Like, there are 2 tanks in range. I think Showtime is realizing that as well. But nothing wrong with threatening. Again, you're keeping BabyMarine a little bit on edge, a little bit antsy as to, you know, what is about to happen, for example. So it has to be a little bit careful there. Those two medevacs are going to go boosting up that left-hand side. Stalkers will continue to gather. The Stimulant Combat Shield finishing very shortly. Marine, Marauder, Medevac, and Mine all producing through for the moment. Plus 2 attack Colossus and the Zealots coming up as well. And a few Stalkers will sit at the frontier to engage into this natural. A little bit of bio just going to start stimming straight through. The Nexus will already take some shots. The Nexus is going to end up getting cancelled. It's going to be an instant cancel. The few Zealots come over. We're just going to be seeing a Stalkers actually looking to intercept these medevacs. So BabyMarine might be in a little bit of trouble. It's 2 full medevacs that are doomed. Doesn't unload a unit. Not that that would have made any difference at all with all those Zealots being underneath. And that's just minus 20 supply. Just for the sake of trying to do good out on the map and trying to make something happen. He gets punished hard for it, as we are going to see. Well, Zealot Stalker here collecting together and honestly looking for an attack in. I mean, we'll not find it just yet, but then there's the Prism in the main base. And that's not exactly being very well handled just yet, as there's just no response to it straight away. The SCV's pulling back over, the Marauders gathering up, the Zealots pull over to the corner. See a little bit of the Zealot Stalker. We'll start moving through, a couple of Widow Mines begin to blow up a few of those Zealots. Tanks are going to try and fire back. But we have the GG called, as BabyMarine just kind of gets run over by the Zealot Stalker force there. And that's going to be Showtime grabbing an opening game of the matchup. As we'll be heading into Pylon for map 2 in just a couple of moments, guys. Just give me 1 second. Just have to move that over quickly. Perfect. We'll get Pylon loaded up here and ready ourselves in for game number 2 of our opening series today. Obviously, 6 best of 3s coming up. Hoping to see some longer games than yesterday. Yesterday was... We've had a couple days so far where the 6 best of 3s have been done easily under 3 hours. I'm like, come on, like... You know, I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for like 3.5 hours. Even just 3 hours of streaming would be nice. But, yeah, we've had a lot of faster games in this event so far. Hopefully, as obviously, generally this format does kind of give you fairer games the further it goes on. Hopefully the format chills out a little bit and we actually do get some of the longer matchups actually starting to happen a little bit more frequently. That would be really nice. And as we go diving into Pylon here for our second game of the day. Showtime with the 1-0 lead, obviously looking to rectify that PvP loss to Mana in the first round. Win this, get to 1-1, and then you're in a position where you can obviously have a good time in the next round. Showtime's definitely one of the guys we're expecting to make playoffs, right? So expecting that to be a major factor as we dive in to the bottom right-hand side. This is going to be our red Protoss player, Showtime, taking the lead of this series 1-0. And in the top left, our blue Terran player is BabyMarine. So, like I say, this was played about 20 minutes ago, and one of the reasons I brought it up as well is because there's going to be a disconnect in this game. BabyMarine lost internet during game number 2 here at some stage. And so they had an extended break, 20 plus minutes. He finally managed to get connected again, although I'm not sure if it was like great connection or like it was just strung together through a phone with bad connection or whatever. So just letting you guys know, at some point you'll see the resume from replay basically pop up. Obviously we don't have to experience it because this is a replay, but yeah, that delay basically pushed it so that the reason I had to take a moment between replay games here, I didn't even have this game in my replay folder before we started the last game because it's that fresh. They finished it within, they finished this game within the last 10 minutes. So they're really just casting on like almost like a 10-minute delay for this first series of the day. So, you want to complain about replays and stuff. This really is, when I say this is as fresh as replays get, this really is as fresh as the replays get. We're casting it as it comes, hot off the game, freshly made replay. And yeah, just letting you guys know ahead of time because, like I say, it's going to pop up over here. Someone's going to mention it, so I will just address it before it happens. Especially right now, during a pretty chilled out moment of the game. We're in orbital coming through, the factory starting up as well. Probe goes for a little bit of a nibble on an SCV. Cybercore and the Nexus continue to produce. The Pylon and the Assimilator being brought in as well. The Reaper is really not too far from popping. Let's see the reactor on the barracks. We'll see what sort of early game plans there will be this time around from BabyMarine. Keep steps through, gonna jump straight onto that pylon. The Adept's gonna go shading about a little bit as well. You have the Twilight Council building up, the Nexus is on the way in. Get that finished up and nothing really too wild about the opening. Obviously, Twilight into Blink opening is fairly expected. BabyMarine mixing it up, going to be going into the, 2 Reapers and a Hellion in production right now. So just a Reaper Hellion, bit of harassment early. Nothing at home right now, and the Adept will get to chase the SCV away. Good hold position on the Hellion. Blocks the Adept from chasing through, but the Shade away will keep it alive. And Showtime is happy to have the, if nothing else, you're kind of forcing that SCV to not be building the CC for a while, so it's still once again a delay early from Showtime, right from the get-go. Just getting that underway. Have all the games been replays? You just weren't paying attention? No. I think we've basically averaged out about 1 replay series per day. It's been pretty minimal, honestly, considering the fact that we've got to organize 12 players every day to be here within a certain time frame. It's been pretty minimal, I would say. I think so. I think it's been about 1 replay series a day. I think one day so far might have had 2 replays. But yeah, it's been we've had a lot of live matches. Obviously, our priority is always to bring. Our priority is a mixture of things, right? We aim to bring live matches because I know that's what the audience wants. I know that's what you guys prefer. I prefer it as well. But there's also the players to think about. We always want to prioritize the players' schedules and so on as well. When we're asking the players to show up on 5 different days to play, you've got to get all the players here on the same day. Like, it's just not always going to work. So if the players say, hey, look, I've got a qualifier. Hey, look, I've got social life. I can't be here on that day. I do not mind them getting their match played ahead of time and casting up the replays because it's better for me to, these formats aren't viable if you're super strict and say, no, you can only play live. If we always did that, it would just be boring-ass, like, 4-player groups every single time, Obviously, if you have just like 4 players in a group and there's a multiple set of days which group can be on, then it's pretty good as well. But for like a format like this where like you want to have all the players playing on multiple days over an extended period of time, then you have to have that flexibility. Because if you don't have that flexibility, you're just asking for your own tournament to be kind of crap, And like I say, it's nice for us to be able to do like a more drawn-out event. It's not ideal for the players. They'd rather play all 5 matches they have to play in one day. So, again, it's, they're coming in and playing at a less than beneficial schedule for them. We're happy to help them out where we need to, And no one really abuses it, Everyone, no one's like, oh no, I can't play any of the matches live, gotta play them all from replays. Let's see, our 4Gen X is coming through, the assimilator coming up. Of course, I'm gonna get an unload into the high ground. There's a tank here, we'll have a couple shots going off. We can save some of the lower HP stalkers with the Prism while we wait for Blink to come off cooldown. The SCV's going down, a couple of probes on the other side. It's the Banshee that's showing up, but it's pretty quickly deflected. 3 SCVs dead for 3 probes. The Banshee over here has actually been a defense, and the Stalker just about blinking out of range, so that Banshee can no longer catch it for further damage. BabyMarine nullifying some of the attack in right there. Yeah, that's a nice wall, isn't it? Really coming across. It's great to see what Terrans are starting to do, right? It's like, hey, look, if the entire kind of area is open to blink into, let's start doing something about that. It's really developed over time. The risk of this wall is Stimpak is exposed. Your add-ons are exposed, right? So that's a risk you have to kind of, accept when you, make that. In theory, you're going to be able to hold from the other side of the wall strongly, but your opponent might give up some units in order to cancel a stim, right? So there's always that to kind of think on in those situations. So we'll just blink through and we're going to see 2 siege tanks going down, so it's a pretty nice cleanup. I love how I spend like 2 minutes explaining how we very rarely have replays, but obviously sometimes it's just necessary. But like, less than 10% of the matches have been replays, and then Twitch chat is like, yeah, usually all the games are replays. Ah! Can never win as a streamer, Jesus. Can't win. There's our game recovery. Like I say, we knew this was coming up because I had to deal with it because it did not look like BabyMarine was going to be able to continue the series. I was about to have to make a tough admin decision as to whether we were going to send a walkover through or try and let them play later and stuff like that. But like I say, his internet came back last moment, so benefit for us is we did not, well, by casting this from replay, we did not have the 20-minute downtime that they had in between the start and the end of this game, I guess. Stalker's going to escape away to the left-hand side. We do see a Bio Army already pushing out through the center. A couple of Widow Mines coming along with it as well. Marine Marauder, +1 armor coming up. The combat shield coming through. A couple of Widow Mines will just burrow up right from the get-go as we see the Guardian shield popping. A couple of Widow Mines going to go off initially onto the Zealots. BabyMarine loses his Medivacs, which is going to be a little bit tough for him as well. And that army's going to get chased away. Prism just gets a massive warp in his Zealots. 8 Zealots right now feels like a huge number. Showtime might just come across the map. I think that was a convincing fight for him. If he just goes straight to the other side, there is a very, very good opportunity that he just ransacks the bases and cleans this up. I mean, that third is barely landed. It's only just now morphed into an orbital. We're just going to commit in. We will eat the Widow Mine shots, which isn't pretty. But the Stalkers go after said Medivacs, and that means that they will fall, so no more healing on the army, or at least limited healing on the army. I mean, if you're just warping in 8 Zealots at a time as well, it just feels so tough to deal with this. The Widow Mines really have a big role to play, and to be fair, the Widow Mines are getting great shots off. I just think we've lost a little bit too much, getting to this point in the first place, basically, is the TLDR. Solid Stalker chases those bio units away, and we are just going to control the natural, basically. There's an Engineering Bay here up for grabs. Another round of Zealots. Again, Widow Mines still have had a big role to play, and likely will continue to play a big role in this. Widow Mine shot is again good. Going to get rid of the shields, knock the Zealots down a little bit. 3 more Stalkers coming up. Colossus about to complete. Nice force field. Going to trap a few units in, and Showtime will finish up the victory. As I say, for BabyMarine, Showtime was going to be a difficult opponent, and running into him while 0-1 already in the group is just unlucky. Showtime is absolutely the best player who was 0-1 in the tournament, and will now be 1-1. And BabyMarine will drop to 0-2. We're cheering for him to bounce back in round 3, because I really think he's got some great games to show us. Just, he's played, to me, what could be the 2 favorites of the tournament. Like, if we end up with a Max Pack Showtime Grand Final in this event, I wouldn't be shocked. To me, that's a real possibility, and he's had to play both of those guys early on. Obviously, there's other players that can make it. I think Heromarine, for example, but it's not unrealistic to think, Showtime Max Packs Finals. That seems doable. That seems realistic. Yeah, and you play both those in your first 2 rounds. It really is just a little bit brutal. So, tough start from BabyMarine, but hopefully some bouncing back for him in the future. Alright, guys, it's time for some Protoss versus Protoss. I know you love it, don't you? Is it our only PvP of the day, or do we have 2 today like we've had the other days as well? Let me just grab my Wikipedia page open. I want to say it's the only one today. Yeah, it's the only one today. So Hearthstone vs Shameless, 2 players who are 1-0. Yeah, 2 players who are 1-0, so looking to go 2-0 with a win here would be huge for them. Puts them in prime position to make the playoffs still. So, yeah, it'll be very exciting. See who is going to get that win. What's up, Who's Sly, by the way? Thank you so much for the 15-month resub. Welcome back. Super appreciate the 15 months of support. Hell yeah, thank you so much. As we'll just take a moment or 2 for this Hearthstone Shameless series to get vetoed. And then we'll be underway. Ultra Love and Maganath are going to get vetoed initially. Wait for a couple more videos to come through here. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone is feeling great. Thank you so much for joining in, tuning in, watching some StarCraft 2 along with us. It's so good to see you all. Again, thank you for joining us. We've had a great few days on the stream with the European League. We will continue the StarCraft action for the week tomorrow with WardiTV Mondays. And then we'll be back on Tuesday and Wednesday for more European League action with round 3. And then Thursday through Sunday, I'm away. It's Helen's birthday. We're taking a trip away for an extended weekend. And then I'll be back on Monday after for WardiTV Mondays, as well as some more European League that week, before it's time to go to EWC somehow. EWC has really crept up on us. So it's going to be time to jump into that sooner rather than later, which is crazy. Then after EWC, we should be back and cranking out the end of European League, and we'll be starting up our next WardiTV 2025 series event in the form of the Summer Championship. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. Videos are coming through. Give us a moment or so. I just want to take a moment to peek at the Krakow qualifier and just see who's playing there and so on. Spirit, Kaliza, Mana, Cristiano. Cool. Just wanted a little peek to see who was up to what. As we will, yeah, have one more video coming in and then we'll be able to be at the point of picking maps between these two. Ultra Love, Magnatha, Torches, Persephone, Pylon, and Incorporeal. So Last Fantasy is going to make it into this best of 3. So that's kind of interesting. Last Fantasy, Leylines, and Tokamak, I believe. That is an interesting best of 3, basically because of Last Fantasy. The rest of the maps that get picked into this are pretty standard for the best of 3, so yeah. Alright, just take a moment or two, guys. We'll get this rolling. What's our schedule? So we do this PvP, and then we do Skillis versus Percival, and then we just drop back down to the 0-1 matches with Sebastes versus Fant, then Scarlet versus Mixu, and then we finish the day on Heromarine versus Goblin. Should be fun. Cool. Alright, Leyline's going to be the opening map. Gonna see, Last Fantasy will be map 3 if we get there, so double check on that. A bit later on, we'll see if we get there. We may not. There's some players around in the lobby, and we should be pretty much good to go. Just need Harston to join on us, and let's just switch a race over. That's a Matt Helm 13. Thank you so much for the 4-month resub on the Prime. Super appreciate it. This is a WardiTV event, guys. Our WardiTV event is powered by you guys. Without your guys' support, we would not be here producing the StarCraft 2 for you. So if you're enjoying it, do consider supporting. Use the Prime sub. Support the StarCraft 2. Use a regular sub. Support however you want to. Whether that's a follow, whether that's watching the ads, whether that's just tuning in every day, whether you do have a few dollars to throw at the stream as well. Like I said, we're always using that support to try and run more events, bigger events, running their prize pools up as best we can, and most importantly, giving the players StarCraft 2 to compete in. Because without the players, without the prize money, StarCraft 2 would really be kind of crowded. Like, imagine I'm just here and I'm like, all right, guys, today we've got no prize money, and so no players have shown up. Let's go. Watch the entry screen of StarCraft. Like, it would be terrible, you know. So. Always good to support the players, and that's always what we're looking to do here at WardiTV. Putting their prize pools on, giving these guys events to play in, trying to give them different formats, trying to get as many different players involved as possible. That's what this European League format is all about, diving a little bit deeper on the into a lot of the European server players, and giving them a few different matches to play. Not just like a show up to a group and get bopped by the favorites, but you know, as the tournament goes on, you get to play against more and more players who are at the same scoreline as you, and hence likely a chance for you to show some cool games. Bottom left, our blue Protoss player is going to be Harston. He takes on the top right red Protoss player, Shameless. It's actually a very cool series. Shameless and Harston, I think, are two players who will. I think honestly, like, I think Harston should be a favorite, but like Shameless is good. It's funny because when I gave Harston his match, he's like, "Wow, who did I pay for this bracket?" Because I think he just says, you know, I've had a pretty good time, right? You got Geralt in the first round, which is not an easy opponent, but it's not a terrible opponent. Shameless in the second round. I feel like he's just happy with his opponents. You know, he knows it could have been way worse. So I think, yeah, he said he's going to be kicking himself if he loses this because he hasn't taken advantage of the bracket. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. The probe continues to chase a probe around. Cybercore coming up, a simulator and the pylon coming into play. And that probe will nibble at the other probe here. So again, a little bit of back and forth between the two for a few moments. Actually, you can see the Nexus super fast from Shameless. And Harston will respond with the Nexus of his own, so they're both going to go for the 1-gate expansion. What's obviously most surprising, perhaps, is the fact there's just been no blocking going on. Now, Harston just goes no scout, but Shameless scouts, and he just doesn't invest in a pylon there to stop this Nexus coming down, force Harston into units, force Harston into just having the slower Nexus, which he totally could have done just with a pylon block, right? So yeah, and we'll see the Nexus coming through from both, but it is going to be faster from Shameless. That risk he's taken is going to pay off for him for now. As we do see the interesting part of this, which is that Hearthstone gets a sentry earlier. There's actually going to be a sentry on the way now from Shameless. So it's an Adept into sentry from Shameless, sentry into Stalker from Hearthstone. Hearthstone has a lot more longevity with these units. Like, I actually don't know how much the one Adept is really going to achieve in this game either. Let's just see the Twilight Council coming up, the Gateway coming through, sentry and Stalker on the way. See Adept coming across the map that is going to try and make its way down to the bottom left-hand side to see a little bit of what's going on. Hallucination checking about for a few moments here as well. Also trying to see just what's up, get a good scout into the base, and just get a bit of a read as to what the heck is going on in the early stages. Obviously, hallucinations are great. His ability to hallucinate so frequently really changes the early game PvP, being able to consistently know what's going on. One of the games Hearthstone lost in the first round against Geralt, he really just didn't hallucinate well enough, and he didn't scout well enough. He completely missed just how committed his opponent was, and it was just such a silly loss, you know. It was completely unnecessary not to see at all what was going on there. Was that Hearthstone against Geralt, or was that another PvP? That actually may have been another PvP. I'm not sure if it was Hearthstone against Geralt, but the story is, if you've got those sentries, keep on using them, because there's information to gather all the way throughout this matchup, right? So, continue to try and find that info. As you see, Stalker and the Sentry together should be able to get the Adept kill here, and that is going to indeed go down, so the Adept will fall. Blink coming up on the side of Shameless. We do have ourselves the Nexus, and so continue to build through. Hallucination still scouting over onto the Natural. And Stalker and Sentry together just going to push that Hallucination back a little bit. Immortal coming up, Forge on the way. And yeah, we're kind of waiting on that blink. Obviously, Hearthstone played into the Robos. He's going straight in toward the Immortals and the kind of the power units here. He's going to have less mobility and presence on the map, but he's going to have more chance to just sort of really, eventually kind of will have a stronger push because you're going to have those Immortals built in. It's really about Shameless trying to utilize these Stalkers to blink about and trying to harass and trying to find advantages early when he has that mobility and that, you know, before that Immortal count gets built up too heavily from Hearthstone. So, see how he approaches it. Hearthstone also has the Observer right there, so he gets to see the Stalkers and the Sentries, so he knows what's up. The Observer is nice, and the Hallucination, as you can see from Shameless, still coming through as he looks for continued information gathering here for a little bit. So, he continues to look for some info. I can say the Hallucination out to the other side right now. Portal being brought up, +1 attack coming in as well. Just continue to get that brought through here. A few more probes coming about, extra gateways coming online. Hallucination really is just doing its thing of scouting around and should be pretty much done in the next couple of moments with this scouting. As it's going to fade away, and then I mean, then you think about just sending another Hallucination onto the map, because that's pretty much what happens here. You just consistently hallucinate. That's your kind of basically your constant goal. Hallucinate all the time. Constantly be aware of what your opponent is doing, what they're perhaps building into. Make sure you know how many gates they're building, if they're looking to expand, if they're looking to strike you. Again, it's all about just getting that info and piecing those, putting those pieces of the puzzle together to give you the big picture of the game. Now, the Temple Archive's coming up from Hearthstone. He obviously went straight to charge here off his own Twilight. He's basically, like I said, just completely bypassed the Blink Stalker phase of the game. What kind of concerns me for Shameless is he's kind of bypassed it too, but he built into it, right? So, where Hearthstone is just kind of completely never going into Blink or anything, Shameless went into Blink but is not going to do anything with it. Only has 8 Stalkers in his army, so doesn't have a lot to really utilize the Stalkers with anyway. Or a lot of Stalkers to really utilize Blink with anyway, I should say. So he's just kind of built into Blink, but he's not going to use it in any way. And like, you could maybe say, well, okay, he only built 8 Stalkers, but he's got a lot of things lacking to show for this, right? He doesn't have the 2 Immortals Hearthstone has. Hearthstone already has the 4 High Templars morphing into Archons. So, I do think there's a little bit of concern there. Now, those 8 Stalkers may have their moments. They may be able to blink in and get a Prism Snipe, for example. So there may be some advantages to take. But I think I really would have just liked to have seen Shameless at least have a little bit of activity on the map. I wonder if he was just afraid of the potential, like, a Prism diving by and getting a couple of workers on the mineral line. So he just wanted those Stalkers back defensively. It's just wild to be the defensive player when you've built into Blink, which is going to give you that super early game mobility and presence on the map. Units that literally cannot die if you micro them correctly unless you get completely caught out of position. However, what we have got is we have got ourselves a bit of a push coming now, so this quick switch into just massive Zealots. I mean, basically, TLDR just Hearthstone have enough Archons to deal with this. He does not have stack defense here. I wouldn't hate it if he gave up the 4th base. Like, his opponent is super tech down in comparison to him. So I wouldn't hate it if you just stepped back and just went to a base that has static defense, but he holds here for the moment. If you Stalkers step forward again, they will make some use of themselves. As we do have the Prism has sneaked out to the bottom side into the main. There's a cannon then, a couple Stalkers warping in to try and play the deflection. You got a couple more warp-ins too. I mean, the important thing is the Stalkers get onto the Prism quickly. What that means is that you cannot really come back through for the warp-in, right? We're going to try to, though, but there's actually 2 more Stalkers that came back through, so they actually do get the kill on the Prism. He warped in those 2 extra Stalkers in the back, and that is going to be a cleanup. Shameless walks into the natural of Hearthstone. So Hearthstone finds himself slightly out positioned there, and just not aware of the movement from his opponent, but he should win this fight comfortably. Like, the Archons are just so good in this scenario. Recall the Zealots that are just in reach of the Archons. That is not the right recall, because that's a recall that's going to bring the units away that are literally getting hit the hardest. And so there's a very high chance they just die before anything else happens. Crazy. Units still gathering up. A couple more High Templar warp in. Plus 2 attack coming through. Cannon and probes coming online as well. Just going to be seeing the Archon and a couple more High Templar coming up as well. Continue to get warped in here. Settling down across the board here on ley lines. That's going to get shot at. We do see the army of Hearthstone pulling back a little bit up that ramp. Pull back. Thinking about stepping forward a little as well. Seeing what we can maybe do here. Those 3 attacks still on the way up, so we continue bringing that by. Cannon in the battery coming through. The additional pylons in production still. Pull back onto that 3rd base location for the moment, as we just see. Again, the couple gates, the cannon still coming up and running. Well, Zealots on the left side. Stalkers as well. Get a couple shots off, some pings. Get some cleanups. Now the rest of the Zealots back around on the right. It's a lot of units from Shameless, but it's still just very low-tech units. I think that's why Hearthstone's okay to fight this. I mean, the fact we actually added Stalkers on is kind of wild. I mean, this is actually maybe one of the better fights Shameless is going to find, and Hearthstone is kind of out in the open. A lot of his tech units getting surrounded quickly. He's going to lose the Archons, which are kind of essential for getting rid of the Zealots, no? Also must have units somewhere else, though, right? I mean, this is actually getting very scary. Shameless looking to overwhelm. Hearthstone was just a few steps too far forward. He's got some units across the map, I believe, as well. But he needs units here right now. Like, he is losing all of his tech units, and I think Hearthstone is just in trouble as Shameless finds the opportunity. Man, the first wave of Shameless's attack really did nothing, and I wonder if Hearthstone just thought that Shameless was backing away into, like, a different setup or so at that stage, but obviously not the case, and that's going to be GG. That is a brutal way to lose. That was, I mean, just having your units in the wrong place, basically. And, yeah, in the end, Shameless says, you know what, I am going to continue to use the Stalkers. He builds more of them in order to bring those up and into good numbers. They actually do get involved in the fight, and they do well. But that's only really because he played that style that was like, I'm going to be aggressive on purely gateway units, so well, he took his position and did what worked with it, and like I say, he found the fight he needed. I think if Hearthstone is slightly towards his base, the Archons don't just get full surrounded straight away. I don't think there's a world in which you can win this, honestly, as Shameless. Like a heads-up fight. Obviously, he can maybe continue to look around for other options and other fights. But, yeah, I think that was kind of one of the worst fights he could have found as Hearthstone, unfortunately. Go and ready, gets called. We have to run ads, sorry guys. I just realized my ads are going to run in game otherwise. We'll just give it 30 seconds, the ads will run over the start, so apologies. I should have run those a little bit sooner when that last game ended. I thought we had a little bit more leeway, but just in case this PvP goes long, we'll just have to run them now, so sorry for them overlapping. It's just a little unlucky. I was playing with Archons like the Harblings Stalkers, yeah, like poking forward. He's ready to blink them back. He's like, no! I mean, he could have maybe got them in a prism or something, but I just don't think he was ready for Shameless to be, like, there with the fight. I can only imagine he thought Shameless was back at home and kind of heading into something else. He was just not... It's not even like Hearthstone was super far out on the map. It was just, like, he had no reason to be just between his bases in that moment. Yeah, it was just not the time to fight. GLHF and GG, as we are going to have in the top right corner of the map with the GL and HF. It is going to be the blue Protoss player up 1 in this best of 3 now. Shameless looking to bring it back. The red Protoss in the bottom left-hand corner. Here on Tokamak, we have Hearthstone. Okay, so we take a second and get settled in. Let me figure out what the players are going to get up to here for a couple of moments. Probe begins to step out onto the map. Awesome scouting instead of no scout this game. Just don't want to take any risks down a game like last time. Last time with the no scout, he's like, okay, it's 0-0. Now he does not want to mess around. Four Zergs, 14 toss. What happened? Well, there's a big tournament called the eSports World Cup coming up, and in a region that is less Zerg players than other races, the top Zergs are all prepping for EWC and do not want to play in the European League, so the Zerg numbers go down and a lot of Protoss players are not in EWC. They want to play. Basically as simple as that. I was just unlucky. A couple of other guys, yeah. Probe coming around, checking to see what's up. Just going to see the Stargate dropping in on the left-hand side. Gate Stalker, Adept, Stargate continuing up for the moment. Sentry in the 4K coming in as well. Next is coming by. I'm just going to be seeing the Probe nibbling at the Stargate of Shameless there. So the Proxy Stargate is figured out. That's great for Harston. Proxy and Stargate, really, that being scouted kind of gives you, like, out of all the proxies, Stargate is one of the ones where it's like, it's really just meant as a surprise. But if you proxy a Robo, Micro can still pull you through in a lot of situations. A proxy Stargate is like, if you know, it's all about the Oracle hitting earlier. If your opponent knows about it, like, this proxy gets shut down so much harder than a lot of the others, so. Definitely going to be, a little bit tough. Let's just have the Adept going to shade, a couple of Stalkers moving about, the sentries are there. Adept going to commit, it decides not to. There's a battery coming up. The battery is obviously a big deal because it really nullifies the first Oracle, so you need 2 Oracles to realistically do anything outside of a Stasis Ward. And of course, in theory, you should always be able to deal with a Stasis Ward because it's just a matter of paying attention and pulling your probes away, so. Always a smart kind of plan as the Oracle dives in. Workers are going to get jumped on. Battery will continue to do some healing. Battery. Let's see a second probe going down, so 2 probes get felled. 2 more Stalkers warping in up on the top side as well. Just going to get those coming by. Stalkers and Sentries stepping up at the front. Couple Stalkers still taking some shots. It's going to be having the 2 extra Stalkers warping in on the ramp right now. We are going to see the Adept taking some hits. Stalker's going to get force fielded in half. It's a good amount of Stalkers at the moment. 2 extra shots coming through. Adept goes down. We do have the, obviously, Oracle diving into the main base, but there's nothing really there. Obviously, with the battery, 1 Oracle is not going to do too much, and Harston making a great attempt at the front here. I mean, the Stalkers of his opponent are low as well. That battery's going to go down, and now we get an extra warp-in or 2. That helps, but Harston's going to have warp-ins as well. The low HP Stalkers start to drop very quickly, and that continues to maintain Harston's advantage, although he is going to hurt on those Stalkers on the right side. It's actually still fairly even. Can't really chase up the ramp, can't justify taking the volley before he's able to fight back, right? So it's close enough of an engagement that going up to the high ground is good for Shameless here. Not minding off his natural during this. Harston takes a chance to maybe take a slight advantage there, although the Oracle maybe makes it a little bit tough to put probes there too. Shameless gets the dive down, taking the fight before Harston's reinforcements arrive. It's very close, but Harston is going to take the extra Stalker loss because he just missed Microed. Hit the Stalker that ran out of range. Now we're losing probes because the Oracle activated on the natural. Stalkers get warped in there defensively. That takes away some of Harston's reinforcements on the aggression. I mean, Dark Shrine coming up from Shameless, and if Harston doesn't realize that, he is in trouble because right now he is skipping the Robo, and skipping the Robo is just going to be extremely costly. He just has no idea. He's so focused on attacking at the front end for Shameless. I mean, this is about to come to a really good scenario, as long as he doesn't die right now. I mean, the couple of hallucinated stalkers actually tanked a bunch of damage. Probe's trying to pull in. I mean, if you're Hearthstone, you're probably feeling good still, but DTs are not far from ending this game for him. Like, he is moments away from just having no response. Okay, Robo drops down. There is a chance because there is no gateway across the map, so it would be a slow warp in. And that maybe gives you time to get an Oracle up here. I mean, this battery is game-saving right now for Shameless too, because he would actually be in a lot of trouble otherwise. Hearthstone's going to recall. He can fully focus on defense. Up 10 workers. First DT is halfway warped in. Man, the Robo's only halfway done as well, though. The Robo cannot come quickly enough right now, as Hearthstone has no real way to kind of block the DTs or slow them down. The best he could do is run the probes all into the main. If he sees the shimmer, he could force field the DT out of the main and then run probes around maybe. I think he sees it. Yep, force fields it out. Force fields it. Okay, that's great, but what about DT number 2? Robo is about to finish. Oh, he's got a force field there as well. So far, it's actually a spot-on defense. So far, I mean, we're going to pull probes away now. We're still not going to have lost a worker here just yet. Stalker taking some damage. You can blink that out of trouble. DT does get into the main. Observer pops out. Wow, that's actually a pretty darn clutch defense, no? Wow. That was actually a nuts defense against the DTs. Force field, traps it in. Force fields this one to make it take even longer. Pull the probes when it gets through to the mineral line. That was genuinely crazy. Did he lose anything? I don't know. I don't think so, because this was the DT on the natural. It didn't get a probe. I don't think he lost a stalker there either. I don't think the DT's got anything. Yeah, that was actually crazy. Wow. Super clutch defense, because I really thought we were not far from those DTs maybe kind of being a game ender. Obviously, we saw the Robo go down. That gives you hope, but you still got to do something. I mean, it's the right time for him to recall as well, right? Because him recalling home allowed him to fully focus on that defense, and then, you know, it would have been really bad if he was continuing to try and attack and put some damage out and so on, only for nothing to really come about in the end. So, yeah, well, great defense from Hearthstone, and that Dark Shrine was a complete waste, because now you've got, what, 1 DT left on the map? It's now dead as well. And Hearthstone is up a few workers, third base building into place, and Shameless adds 2 gateways and maybe just looks for the kill via Blink Stalkers here. The probe coming across from Hearthstone actually does spot these Stalkers, so you know that your opponent's being aggressive. At this point, Hearthstone just has to keep building Stalkers, match his opponent in numbers, and defensively, Blinking should be able to close this out. There's still no aggressive warp-in pylon, right? This is the best we've got, and that's a slow warp-in. Yeah, we're building the gateway here, but that's going to take a while to finish, so the next couple warp-ins still going to be slow. The Oracle does provide the high ground vision for Blink into the main. That's the one thing that might be awkward for Hearthstone. But if your opponent blinks in, they also don't have the defensive blink back, so that's a factor too. Oh, we get the Oracle. Well, that option is now taken out of the equation. There is one Stay Sword up top already. I think Hearthstone is a little scared about continuing to fight here. I think Shameless is maybe about to blink on top of this. He doesn't. He's going to keep it for the defensive blinks back. I mean, Stalker count is favoring Shameless right now by a couple. If Hearthstone can just hold on. And, I mean, I don't mind him pulling a couple probes in either, right? A few Stalker shots tanked is actually a pretty big deal in this moment. Stalkers continue to come through. More Stalkers going down. Stalkers just continue to fall. And that is going to be a huge deal, huge factor here. Immortal Stalkers still coming up. +1 attack coming in. The Observer overhead. We have another battery going down. Hearthstone lost 8 workers, which does level the work count a little bit, but he's still up by 7. He's obviously got a whole base his opponent doesn't have. GG called, and Hearthstone takes game 2 of this best of 3. Crazy. That was honestly such a sick defense against the DTs. Very cool. That means we're going to actually get ourselves last fantasy for a final map of this series as well. So we're going to get to see the map we don't usually get to see. Love that. Alright, thank you so much, Kyrie, for gifting out another sub to Just Carlino. Thank you so much for generosity lately. Appreciate it. I just hosted the wrong map, so give me a second. A game? Yeah, it was pretty sick, wasn't it? He only loses theoretical wins because his brain's too big. Yeah, he did just tell me, he just messaged me, this is a theoretical 2-0. We could fill that in on Liquipedia. Unfortunately, they don't have a space for theoretical wins, but... Alright, Halston said if he gets top spawn, he's going to smash his desk. So let's see if the desk will be smashed. Will the red Protoss spawn in the top? 1 in 3 chance of a desk smash. In the top side of the map, the red Protoss player is going to be Halston as we enter the 3-player map of Last Fantasy. Good luck with a full stop. Oof. As in the bottom left, our blue Protoss player here is Shameless. Game 3 of the series. Winner of this gets to go 2-0 in the group, in a great spot to continue moving forward and committing toward the playoffs. Gateway starting on both sides. Probes coming up. There's Kyber with another gifted sub to Kaido Zaytami. Thank you so much for the generosity, mate. Thank you for popping up the sub count the last few days. Like I said, it's been really nice, despite what's been a pretty rough month of streaming just because of other events. We still are, you know, coming up to 600 subs right now is actually pretty nuts. So thank you so much on that one. I appreciate it. Gateways coming through, 1 gate on the other side. We do have ourselves a pylon, assimilators all building up as well. Cybercore drops into place. Gateways coming up. Obviously waiting for the Cybercore to come in from Halston, no? There it is. A little bit later on that Cybercore. What's up, Famkind? How you doing as well? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. DT defense might be in the highlight of the week. You know that DT defense might get me out of my might get me onto the video editor, making a little YouTube short. You know, Halston with the. I feel like we just type Halston and clutch or something in DTs. It's like all of the grab words as well, you know? And it was genuinely pretty cool. It was also genuinely pretty cool. Surely that's how you get a successful short, no? Not that shorts really do anything, but, you know, in theory. In theory. Robo facility coming up right, slap bang, middle of the map, so Shameless with the aggression. Against a Halston who typically likes to expand, he's going to go Stargate off of 2 Stalkers. So Stalker's out, Stargate, double Stalker behind it. Obviously, Halston currently not in the know of what's going on. The Stalker coming across the map is going to just completely miss the Robo. It's off to the side, right? So Halston does know where his opponent is at. Obviously, Shameless knows as well. As, uh-oh, the Adepts get in. That's not a good start to this defense, right? As you're going to lose a lot of mining time here with the probes pulling. It's a full surround, so you minimize the losses. It's still going to be... I was going to still say it's still 4 works. It's actually only going to be 3 with 1 going down elsewhere. Immortal spawns out. Halston's information right now is not great. Like, he doesn't know what's up. He's building a Phoenix, though, so maybe he does know what's up, actually. Oh, he saw it. Sorry, apologies. I think the probe that died was the probe that scouted this, so he's going to go Phoenix off the Stargate. Sorry, so he does get the scout. He has a rough idea of what's going on. He'd maybe like to get a poke on the Immortal straight away right now. Yeah, if he could, or just some shots off. Oh, Immortal jumps into the Prism. Going to lift the Immortal up right now. Halston has to make his decision of what he wants to target fire. He's now going to start putting damage on the Immortal. I don't know if he's got enough, though. Finishes off that Stalker. Going to take some shots. He's now going to go for the Prism. I mean, he gets it. That is a delay. But he loses quite a few Stalkers in going after the Prism there. Does he have a second Phoenix? Yes. So he's going to have lifts available. That's great against the Immortals. It's scary. He actually, oh wow, we actually cancelled a second Immortal to rebuild the Prism. So I actually think the Prism is worth it then, because that Immortal number 2 is like halfway over already. So that would have been really nice to just have popping out now already to join in for your attack. So I like this for Hearthstone a little bit. Phoenix on the way up as well currently. Battery coming through. Phoenix back around the side, just going to be, I mean, honestly, just checking what's up a little bit. Going to catch a Stalker that's coming across the map right now as well, but you also kind of need these Phoenix at home, and I do not love a second lift on this Stalker. Like, I get it, you want to get the kill, but that's lifts that are now not available for the, I mean, I'm just surprised that we're not using these defensively, no? I mean, Austin does not have a lot of units. He needs all of the defense he can get right now. His gates are going to come under fire here. I really feel like he needs the Phoenix back at home. That's going to start moving over now. I mean, I guess you do have time. It takes a while for your opponent to do much. One gateway depowered early as the pylon goes down off to the sides. Looks Phoenix about to spawn in. You got to make it. I mean, he's actually keeping these Phoenix just on the map, looking for units wandering across. There's only one Immortal. Like, the firepower of this army is mostly going to be in the Stalkers, which is kind of scary because obviously if you're looking for the Phoenix to help you defend, then the Phoenix are going to get shot down by all of those Stalkers pretty quickly, right? As immediately a volley there hurts. Going to lift up a Stalker. It can't micro back if it's lifted in the skies. The Mortal's already lifted back. Going to keep using the Phoenix to knock the Stalkers down. I actually kind of like that, and because of the force field, it is keeping a lot of these units away. Another Phoenix showing up into the fight. Just finish that Stalker off. Now we're going to have to lift the Immortal up, get rid of some of the damage output here, lift up a few more of the Phoenixes. Hearthstone have the damage. He might have to pull, he already did pull some probes. Saying he might have to, or thinking he might have to pull some more, but as long as he has Phoenix energy, he's going to continue getting kills. He's now just going to dive the Prison. There's not enough Stalkers to punish the Phoenix for chasing through. The recall comes down the Stalkers, but the Immortal and the Prism go down, and that's a defense made from Hearthstone, who I think the power point from now is obviously A, your tech structure is on the map here from Shameless, so that's not ideal, and B, Hearthstone has the Phoenix, which are actually very good units to have a good amount of in a PvP. Shameless is going to start the Twilight Council. Blink would be probably the most kind of logical thing to kind of go into at this stage. But it's not great because these Phoenix are going to control this map and they're going to really limit what you can do as Shameless, while Hearthstone can set up a lot more comfortably. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it is a lot of Stalkers. It's going to be tough for the Phoenix to do much more themselves, but I suppose we will see. They're going to loop around for the moment. Try and find a way into Mineral Line, get a couple of probes. You do want to keep some of the energy, right? Because I actually do think the Stalkers are, the Phoenix is going to be an important part of your defense eventually. You actually lose 2 Phoenix here. You get 6 workers. He's Shameless only on 16 probes. Trying to chrono boost the Blink. Hearthstone sees the Twilight, so he'll know what's coming up. He builds a Robo, which is just super smart, right? You start getting Immortals here, and you basically can't lose this game because the Immortals are going to be extremely effective against the Stalkers. Nexus goes down on the natural Blink, coming up to being about halfway done. Phoenix pull back, taking a couple moments. Got the pylon off to the side, still got the Blink coming online. I mean, we're just waiting for that Blink to come up, and Hearthstone will take a Nexus that he'll try and defend. He's already got a battery to the low ground. Again, he will have at least 1 Immortal by the time this attacks. He'll be well on his way to a second, I'd imagine. I don't think there's any reason to prioritize anything that's not an Immortal in production right now. Okay, he's going to go Observer. I guess a bit of vision to know where the Stalkers might be attacking from is good. I just don't... I mean, maybe he's afraid of a Dark Shrine hidden somewhere too. I'm just thinking, like, you already have the Phoenix to kind of roughly track the Stalkers. Anyway... So we'll see in a moment as we actually do, with that Observer, get rid of the Observer as opponents. I guess that's a nice start. Now it's a little bit tougher as well for Shameless to know where the defense is, although it's somewhat obvious. We hallucinate a Void Ray. And again, we have the Phoenix to lift up and to offset those Stalker numbers in a big way as Shameless tries to poke around. It's going to see the Stalker's going to step forward. The battery already taken a couple of shots. Guardian Shield will activate. Phoenix taking some hits in return. Another Stalker warping in from Shameless. Still looking to poke in at the front right now. All these Adepts taking damage. The Phoenix still holding out overhead. New Immortal is on the high ground, by the way. So he's got a second Immortal, just yet to really pull it into the fight. And actually get rid of a couple of the Stalkers now as we just start to lift them. I mean, that Immortal should just come to the low ground, though. There's no world in which you don't want to just fight with everything, although it doesn't really matter. I think Hearthstone has more than enough. GG, and Hearthstone will take the victory here. He'll move to 2-0 in the European League, while Shameless will drop down to 1-1. It'll be very interesting to continue watching both of these guys and their future in this event. And see how they continue to move on through. Alrighty, guys, so games continue through. Thank you so much for joining us so far today. Hearthstone with that 2-1 victory is big. But thank you so much for the subs. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, I've got something else open. Just some admin work very quickly here. Apologies. I will catch up with you guys digging away in a second. Cool. 4 matches remain in round 2. I am Mentos. Thank you so much for the 44-month resub on the Prime. Mucky on the 115-month resub. It's been over 9 years since Hearthstone won in China, birthing Flame Limps and the host chanting Hearthstone, Hearthstone, Hearthstone. Back in the day. If I had lost, I would have unsubbed on the 114-month resub from Hearthstone. It's scary to know that my income is based on Hearthstone's skill level. Honestly, that's maybe one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard. But today we will survive on through. So beautiful stuff. All right, guys, we run the ads and we'll get ready for our next matchup, which will be Percival versus Skillis. Just waiting for Skillis to log on in. Let me send him a message. Cool. Alright, Skillis is going to offer the NA server to Percival. So again, this is the European League, so the rules are European server. But Skillis is going to offer the NA server Central West Central. So not even all Central, he's going to offer Central West Central. Good guy Skillis, crazy. 150-month resub, and I found Wardy like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, if you found us 3 weeks ago, you're missing out on nearly 9 years of StarCraft, yeah. I mean, I've been full-time for 10 years, which is kind of crazy in itself, so... yeah, pretty wild. 1, 2, 3... hop on over to NA, and we'll get this going. So, shout out to Skillis, gonna offer this one on NA, like I say. And mix it up a little bit. But yeah, we've been, like I said, I've been full-time for 10 years. Isn't that crazy? Because I was obviously doing StarCraft stuff before I went full-time as well. Just the fact that we've been just full-time for 10 years in itself, like that stat alone is wild. I've actually been doing StarCraft casting for 3 or 4 years before that too. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Alright, let's host up. It's ready to go. Try to remember your country exists and now you're getting ads again. Damn. Unlucky. Feels bad, man. Feels good. I got the money. The money's rolling in. Matches start. The next match is coming up in a couple moments. Just waiting for people to log on over to the NA server. We are just missing one caster. I feel like they did not get the memo about swapping servers. 1 second, guys. Oh, just not logged in at all. Maybe they did get the memo. Maybe they did get the memo. Alright, we're good to go. Players are here. And Skillis vs Percival starting up. It was a great first round from Percival. Played against Scarlet. Was actually a very exciting matchup. And ended up winning that one 2-1. I actually think these players all played some pretty exciting first rounds, because also Skillis went 2-1 against Mixu. There's a series where I felt like Skillis was always in good positions, but one game he didn't manage to end his opponent's kind of game plan, and then it actually came back to bite him a little bit, so... I'm getting excited because after this, we've only got 3 best-of-3s, and I'm actually excited to see what round 3 looks like. And, you know, I'm already kind of getting excited for Tuesdays and Wednesdays games. Because, again, the way that this format works is, you know, we don't know what the next round looks like until all the matches are finished, and then the matches get drawn. So, it's going to start looking very, very fun. So, yeah, excited to kind of, at the end of today, figure out what the next round of games will be. One of the benefits, the more excitement to have. In the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to kick off this best-of-3 series. Like I say, shout out to Skillis because he's allowed this one to play on NA. The rules say EU, but if you offer NA, I'm not going to say no. In the bottom left, we'll be thankful for that. Percival, our Korean our Korean Terran player. The reason we have Korean players in the European League is that, I've explained this every time, but I'll just explain it again in case anyone's watching the European League for the first time. TLDR, to keep it kind of quick, is that there's not much point in completely region locking people out of tournaments anymore. Generally, players, you know, we're in a state of StarCraft 2 where just having more eligible players to participate is better. So if a couple of players want to play on the disadvantage of the European server and the European time zones, we're very happy to have them play in the qualifiers. And if they can come through those disadvantages in the qualifiers to qualify, we're very happy to have them in the competition. And that's where Percival, Scarlet, and Björn all came into the European League. So yes, it is European server. You know, that is the rule. It is typically European-friendly time zones. But we're not hard region locking anyone anymore. And when we have the Korean Royale Season 4 later this year, the Korean Royale Season 4 will also have the same rule where everything is played on Korea. But if anyone would like to play from Europe, as long as they play on the Korean server, like, that is okay. If you can qualify through on the Korean server, you can participate. So, yes, it is completely European favored, but we're not blocking non-Europeans from participating. I think, you know, if you look at this lineup, it's done its job where we get a couple of extra cool players that are clearly doing well despite the ping. Percival and, you know, Percival and Scarlet gave us a great game the other day, and then Björn is 2-0 already. So we are getting kind of that, while also still having, you know, clearly it's a European-favored tournament. Most of the players are Europeans, so for me it's a win, and as long as it continues in that sort of trend. Like, if it gets to a point where, like, the European League is, like, 12 Korean players because they're all just freaking gods on the European server and they've all decided to play, then maybe we'd do something about it, but for now, I think it's kind of a fine little in-between that we found for the moment. So yeah, we're going to get through. Some damage being dealt as we just have ourselves the Stargate coming up and online. We got ourselves prepped up in the first couple of moments, and those Reapers together here will gather with a Hellion, so Percival looking to poke at the front. Percival's been a really fun player to follow lately. Really has since coming back kind of focused on StarCraft 2 after kind of delving into Stormgate and some other RTS games. He's actually looked pretty darn good in StarCraft 2. Is he kind of at the top of the Korean kind of ladder? No. But is he absolutely competitive with a lot of the players, and is he doing well in the online tournaments? Yes, he absolutely is. And right away here, gets himself an early unit kill. Doesn't get many probes as the battery finishes. I was going to say, I felt like we could have maybe got those units away completely. We just managed to escape away. Crazy, since you're pretty sure from Korea to EU, you get 250 to 300. Yeah, I would say it's more guaranteed to be like 300 to 350 ping. Like, the ping from Korea to Europe is not pretty. So yeah. Could you enter from the ISS? Look, if you can qualify with the ping, playing from the ISS to the EU server, you can play, you know? Well, it's more whether, you know, I'm not going to ban people. If you can overcome that ping, go wild. Next thing we know, we have, like, aliens taking part in the WardiTV weekly. They're like, we heard anyone can play. And they're just so advanced they can beat anyone with, like, 4,000 ping or something. The Koreans that practice on EU have 200 to 220 ping with VPN? Wow, that's disgusting. That's insane. That's so good, no? I never even knew that. It's kind of obviously 200 ping's still a lot for StarCraft, but for Korea to Europe, that's so much more manageable than you'd think. You also started practicing Korea with 200 to 220? Jeez, that is crazy. Oops, sorry, I'm not watching as the Marines have... How did these Marines get here? Apparently a medevac died as I'm reading chat and being amazed by the modern day ping abilities of VPNs. 7 probes go down for Skillis, so a bit of a combination attack. As, yeah, the medevac went down, but the Marines got in. They got a few more workers, already a few more lost on the natural. It's been great for Percival in the early stages. Has been able to really develop some pretty good situations for himself. Some good damage early. Phoenix will just come around. Just maybe seeing the Cyclone moving over. A couple of SCVs he'll get jumped on. This is the benefit of having the Phoenix. But yeah, it's kind of weird to see a Phoenix opening anyway. Like, this is not the norm in PvT at the moment. So that's not really normal in the slightest. And we're going to see a scenario here where the Phoenix kind of got punished early. See even more workers going down over here as the Banshee just shows up. This is an easy cleanup for the Phoenix, but obviously they're just not in position, right? She's going to get a sentry there as well. My goodness, Percival is having a hell of an early game. As a few Marines, Viking, and Cyclone get over there, the Phoenix will get pushed away. Refinery about to finish up in the next couple of moments as well. So we got that refinery finished, a little bit more gas available. As the next step is going to be 2 Vikings at a time, because we're still high on the Phoenix count. And looks like we're going to push. This is something that became very popular over the, I want to say the last year. It might have been a bit longer at this stage, but if your opponent is going Phoenix, if you just keep building Vikings, you can actually get to a very scary Viking count very quickly. And it's very hard to actually lose a Viking in these scenarios. Like, the Phoenix don't do a lot of damage. Like, they have to sit and stand in a fight for multiple moments for the, you know, a Viking to truly be killed off, right? So you just see this Viking count growing, and they can actually be pretty sturdy, and they actually do a lot to kind of trade with the Phoenix and all the rest. Now, the Phoenix here get in, they're going to get some SCVs. I don't think Percival is looking backwards. He's looking to get across the map. There's not a lot of Protoss out on the map, but there is going to be 1 Colossus, and that will be a big deal, plus the Immortal. Actually have a couple of key tech units here. We just need to see if there's enough support for them to keep them safe. Obviously, the Vikings can have a go at the Colossus. The siege tanks are going to be very good at zoning in general right now. Skillis is very active in trying to get forward there. Without the Phoenix here, there's no anti-air. Well, 2 sentries and a Stalker. They are not going to get rid of the Vikings, though. So the Colossus goes down. The Phoenix are just not in the right place. Now the Vikings will take on the Phoenix and take those out pretty easily. The tanks are able to focus on the Immortal, and that is going to be a disaster. Phoenix going down, extra Stalkers warping in, and I do think we've got ourselves Percival looking good in this opening game. He got some really good damage done. I apologize for some bad observing. I missed some of that. But yeah, he got some really good damage done initially, and then has just come across with these Vikings and really controlled the game with them. I don't even know how much difference the Phoenix being here would have made. Like, it would have obviously helped. I don't know if we would have saved the Colossus. I don't know if we would have saved the situation from kind of breaking into what it was. Obviously, the Phoenix being out of position is still worst case scenario, but I think Percival might have had a chance to make this push forward happen anyway. Tanks just sieging up. I mean, you're going to see here, I guess this is kind of an example of what might have happened, where the Colossus gets a little bit longer to survive. The Vikings go down, the Phoenix go down though, and then, you know, future Vikings would have still had a good time. Would have definitely been better. As Percival gets the opening game win over Skillis. So Percival able to get to 1-0 to kick things off. Alright, game number 2 is going to be on Tokamak. Let's get that hosted up straight away, and we'll sneak on into some more PvT here, guys. As Tokamak will be our second game. And torches for map 3 if we do need a deciding map, if Skillis can bounce back in this matchup. Lobby link, and we can go. Alright, players about. Get that racer set, and we can go into game number 2, guys. Skillis to set to Protoss. That's all we're missing, and him to ready up as well. So, a couple of moments, and we should be off and away into this next round. Ready? Let's do it. All right, game number 2 of this best of 3. As we have, obviously, again, 2 players in this 1-0 scenario. Looking to get to 2-0 in the group would be a great starting point from 2-0. You're kind of a match away from more or less guaranteed playoffs. And you're very much so still in the running to, you know, challenge for a winner bracket spot of the playoffs as well. So, again, we'll have one more 1-0 match left after this, which is Heromarine versus Goblin. That's our series we end the day on. After this, we're going to be diving into some PvZ and ZvZ. Sebastes versus Fant, and then Scarlet versus Mixu as we continue the day. In the bottom left-hand side, we're going to have ourselves the blue Protoss player. This is Team Liquid's Skillis. Up against, in the top right corner, the red Terran player is Percival. Game 2 of our best of 3. As we get this up and running. What's up, G-Town? Thank you so much for the 2-month resub. Welcome back. Thank you for supporting the WardiTV events. Again, WardiTV European League is part of the 2025 series, which is our series of events totaling $30,000 of prize money this year. Players in the European League top 2 will be able to get a direct seed into the 2025 championship at the end of the year. That's what the 2025 series all builds up into. So top 2 will advance to the 2025 championship directly with a really good seed that gets you kind of bypassed a couple of the group stages. And everyone else will be earning points based on their placement to also help them qualify in or to get them into a certain kind of set of qualifiers. The way it's going to work is that basically players that qualify directly through events are going to have a really good seed, maybe even into like a playoff bracket or so. Players with points, you know, highest points will probably get a seed into group stages. And then there will be qualifiers open to players with of certain point values and higher as well. So it's kind of like a play-in. And then there'll just be open qualifiers beyond that as well. So TLDR, the more Wardy points you earn, the less you have to play when it comes to our end-of-year championship that we're hoping to have $10,000 prize money for. We're hoping to put that much into that. It might be a little bit of give or take. Just depending on how the other events go and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what's happening. What's up, Diamond Cat? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 32-month resub. Hitting us up with the Prime sub. Much appreciated. Of course, if you're sitting on a Prime, it's easy to support, and it goes into all those WardiTV events. Help us to keep the 2025 series and the Monday Cups and all the rest of it keep on running on through. Reaper heads down to the bottom left here from Percival. Just going to head in toward the main base. As we hop into the main, there's a Stalker there already. What is TLDR? Too long didn't read, so I guess when I say it, it's more of a too long didn't listen. Or too long don't want to say it all out loud. Too long, I'm going to try and summarize it very quickly, but still go on about it for like 2 minutes instead. Yeah. It's like, when I say TLDR, it's pretty much, hey, I'm going to try and keep this brief, but realistically, it's probably going to be long, so... so there's a completely pointless phrase. Because this time we do see a Twilight Council from Skillis, so he is going to go into the more expected opener here of the Twilight rather than trying to play the Phoenix, which I think is just a difficult style to play. Hallucination scouts through the natural into the reward of the main base. Too loud, don't ramble. Wow. Oh. Wait, why did we lose 4 probes? I'm just stupid. Reaper and the Hellion just dove through for a sentry and 4 probes? Oh my god. Sorry guys, I'm watching Twitch chat. I didn't think anything was happening, and the Reaper and Hellion just caused absolute chaos apparently. Wow, the observing today is really top notch, guys. Doing a great job over here, my apologies. That's pretty rough for Skillis. Already super early in this game. The sentry down. You know, that's actually an expensive gas-based unit that if you build it early, you generally want it. But we're actually going to go charge on the Twilight Council, as now we see the medevac coming across the map. Cyclone and the 4 Marines will make their way across here, so aiming for the bottom left. Bench coming up, the cloaking on the way in. Just going to see the Nexus probes and the charge upgrade coming through, as well as we have the unload into the main base. Stalker is going to get jumped on. The other couple Stalkers step through. Looking for that Cyclone. The battery keeps that Stalker alive despite the Cyclone lock-on staying for a while. Didn't lift that Cyclone up for a little bit. Now the battery out of energy, but you're kind of controlling the high ground. This is super awkward because Skillis doesn't have vision of his own high ground, and he has to back away a little, and that gives you space to get into the mineral line here. There's another battery there. Fortunately, without that, that would have been really disastrous. Oh, we wanted to save the Marines. We save a couple. We'll get back to the low ground. We didn't go Blink. We're on the way to charge. He could have unloaded here for more probes, but I think he's expecting Blink to finish any second. And so he's just like, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get the medevac out alive. The reality is, without Blink, there was actually no way for Skills to really punish that. So he's a little bit lucky that Percival respected the Blink coming in, because if Percival was like, screw it, I'm going to lose these units, but let's get as much done as I can, he probably would have found a whole lot more than he was originally expecting. Medevac back up top is going to get back home, as we do have charge completed now. Robo on the way up. Zealots start to warp in, and we look to see what Skillis' next point of call is going to be. I mean, it's going to go Blink eventually anyway. I mean, it would kind of make sense. Give yourself some ability and, air-based defense that can move around against drops, and so yes, he is. He gets that Blink started up. The charge is nice because he had a bit of a rough opener, and obviously charge gives you a good opportunity to deal with any sort of aggressive follow-up that I think Percival is pretty well known for going into, so I don't hate the charge first as an option here. I do actually think it keeps you pretty safe. It also takes away some of your aggressive options, right? If you had Blink right now, you could be on this map and much more aggressively poking at these units trying to come across. In theory, because you've got the Zealots, you should be able to kind of, be a threat to this, and this attack shouldn't be able to do as much, but I don't know if it's a little bit too early. It looks like the Zealot count is good, actually. The Marines and tanks having to back it up there, and Skillis is going to catch Percival, not aware of just the power of that army, so Skillis punches Percival back, has to lift into that medevac and retreat away for the moment. Stimpack and +1 continuing to come on through. Combat shield added on as well. Marine Marauder medevac reactor as well being built up. Across the map is the double Banshee that's cloaked up that gets a couple of probes, so some success for Percival during this, but obviously 2 probes is not it's not incredible, right? It's good, but it's not super crazy. Let's just see those Banshees gathering up in that corner. Zealot Stalker going to make their way toward the natural here, getting ready for a little bit of a poke through. Tank is going to get a few shots off. Zealot's already in some trouble. Yeah, Blink building up there, +1 stim and combat shield all coming online. The units continue to gather about. The Stalker's going to gather up onto the third base. A couple of forges being brought through. The extended thermal lance coming online. The battery just going to do some healing. And the triple medevac loads up, escapes up through the top. Going to be heading around that left-hand side and seeing where it can get to. So looking for some opportunity. Blink about to be done. Extended thermal lance on the way in. Those couple forges are going to finish up, so we do have a chance to get some upgrades started. 1-1. We'll begin right here. So just going to begin to chrono boost that. We do have ourselves the pylon off over on the side. I don't actually, I think we saw this because that pylon was still built, and Percival does a pretty nice little dodging maneuver. Skills just out of position. He has no idea, so he's going to have to full recall into the main. I mean, still a chance to get rid of forges here. I love it. He goes for the deeper forge. It's kind of smart because the deeper forge is likely the one with the more important upgrade. If Skillis thought about which upgrade to put it on, there's also a chance he killed that one, then he back away and kill the other. In the end, he didn't get either. I actually do like him diving the more middle forge. I think there's more chance of him getting something from it, but in the end, maybe he should have just seen the recall and just lifted the hell up and gotten out of there while he had a chance. Force the defensive cooldown, make it a bit more difficult for Skillis to justify being on the map. But right now, he just lost a whole bunch of units, and this is a third base, only just taking position from Percival. Skillis is finishing his 4th. And I think Skillis is continuing to grab a pretty stern hold of this game 2. And maybe going to look to give us a cheeky little game 3 here today. The second time. Just going to see our army is already arriving on the right side. Zealot, Stalker, Colossus. And there's not a ton to deal with this. I mean, the defensive tanks are going to help. The Widow Mines do a lot against the Zealots as well. That's going to be the units that really keep you in this right now as Percival. If there's a chance, it's going to be on those factory-based units as the warp-ins come through. And I mean, I think Skills is just going to send it. He killed a lot just now, and I think he knows that he has a pretty good chance of just attacking in and doing fine. He kills a lot of the Widow Mines before they even get to fire as well. Blink towards the siege tanks. Fire units against 2 Colossus that they just cannot touch. And there's a few Vikings, but the Stalkers are going to start to zone them. The Zelds are just doing their thing, running forward. I mean, they eat some Widowmine shots, so they're going to take some hefty damage, but I think the reality is that... yeah, I mean, I think one Colossus lives, and obviously not enough overall. GG's. Percival had a great start, but Skillis is able to turn it around, bring this game back, and that takes us to a Game 3 for the second time today in Round 2 of the European League by WardiTV 2025. It's Torches for our final map, right? Let's get this hosted up. Get right on into it. Round 2 out of how many? We play 5 rounds of Swiss. So every player plays 5 best of 3s in the tournament. Every best of 3 is worth $20, and so even when you kind of get eliminated, you still have a chance to play a couple more matches for some prize money. For the guys that are eliminated, having a chance to play a best of 3 for $20 is still, you know, kind of a fun little deal, you know? So yeah, it's 5 rounds of best of 3. So today is the end of round 2, and then Tuesday and Wednesday of the coming week are going to be round 3 day 1 and round 3 day 2, so... As everyone's ready, everyone sets the correct race. Let's get this started. Is it normal pros take base 4 before Terran take base 3? If the Terran's slow to go to 3rd base, then yes, absolutely. Like, I think if the pros 4th base is coming online as the Terran is flying their 3rd base across, I don't think it's super bad for a Terran. Percival would have been fine here if he didn't lose 3 medevacs and gain very little with them. You know? So yeah, you would like it to be a little bit closer. Typically, once you're on 4 bases of the Protoss, that's when the base count starts to really explode away from control of the Terran a little bit. You know, very quickly after 4th, you start to throw down the 5th base as well. And that's when the Terran has to be really conscious about not letting a 6th base come up until they get their 4th going. So, but yeah, I think the 4th coming up while the Terran is taking a 3rd is pretty natural at this state of TVP. Oh, that's a tilt depot. Percival puts it out of position. Early cancel. 25 minerals gone. I mean, 25 minerals early in the game is expensive, you know? Like, that is money that is, unfortunately, a little bit wasted right from the very get-go there. Skills in the bottom right, bringing this series back. And especially that last game, because he was in a pretty tough position in that last game as well, so... And he'll pull that back a little bit. Very nice to see, because that could have absolutely gone a little bit tits up, to be honest. Could have gone a whole lot worse. Okay, going online. Barracks coming through. Gets settled for a few moments. Just going to see the probe moving about for a couple of moments. Nexus goes down. Torches, fun map with this kind of right side of the map going to be taking a lot of the attention. Obviously, big dropping pathway down that right side, big pushing pathway as well. No watchtower or anything kind of crazy easy to help you kind of keep an eye on everything that's just moving up and down there. So it's going to be a big part of this game. Let's see. I mean, expecting Skills to go Twilight again. I wonder if he takes less damage this game if he can just, you know, open Blink for once instead of, you know, first game Phoenix, second game Charge. You've yet to see kind of the most traditional opener for PvT in this meta be utilized by Skillis just yet. And I don't think that's necessarily out of, you know, personal preference either. I think that is just the way the games have gone. Obviously, game 1 he chose Phoenix, right? He chose Stargate. But game 2, I think Charge may have been kind of swayed by the fact he took some damage. And he wanted to make sure he was not going to fall victim to the follow-up Marine tank push, which he actually did clean up very nicely, so... CV. Going through the gold base. I like that. Just checking to see if there's any preemptive early gold or anything like that, right? Takes an extra second to just make sure that your opponent's not being too cheeky. Ooh, and it keeps out of the view of a lot of the scouting probe timings. So now you're going to proxy the starport. This is a super nearby proxy starport. If we get away with this, we're going to have a pretty scary little Hellion timing showing up. Hellion drops very potent. Anytime I think of a Hellion drop, I always think of Clem, because A, Clem is very good at pulling them off, but he loved this build for an extended period. It's not seen so much in the modern meta, I think because the hallucination can get into the main base and scout so frequently. Seeing the lack of gas because the starport is building, not in the main, is a little bit of a, like, an alarm bells ringing moment, so you already kind of get an idea of maybe what is happening. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed to defend it, but it does give you the preemptive chance to think about where your units are going to be. You're not going to have, you know, vision in your main base covered in all the corners, for example, to stop a full unload. Stuff like that. Obviously, in this case, the medevac is going to spawn on the left side, so toward the natural. Hellions are already running across to this side, and again, hallucination just getting a chance to see it and kind of just watching those Hellions. So yeah, this is the problem, right? The hallucinations are just so common nowadays that this is kind of known about. So we'll jump into the medevac, but the units are going to be right there. I mean, we're just going to unload the Hellions anyways. The Percival just going to try and go for it. He needs to obviously hit a bunch of the probes right now. He is going to get the lift into the main base. Don't take too many volleys. He needs to get into this main. Okay, 3 Hellions alive. He's got potential right now. He needs to see probably 5+ workers dead at the very least. I think he's easily going to get it because all the units were focused on the low ground. Hellions chasing still. Low HP probes being targeted. 9 workers. We're actually going to get a lift up. We saved 2 of the Hellions. What a fantastic job by Percival in the end. 9 workers, medevac, and 2 of the Hellions stay alive. When you consider that Skillis saw it coming with the hallucination and followed it into the natural, all of his units were there. It's pretty incredible to get that much done. Because, oh, I love this as well. He's going to sneak these Hellions back up in toward the main base. Ignore that probe. Yeah, there's an opportunity for you in the main base to get maybe a couple more workers. He loses the 1 Hellion, though. Because it was already low, it's obviously very difficult to actually kind of get it through and keep it alive. And that was actually good defense in the end for Skillis. He lost nothing extra. The 2 Stalkers were in the main over to the corner. A good job from Percival just trying to find an opening and actually successfully finding a way to get those Hellions back in for potentially more damage. That was actually very nicely done. Starport building in the front. We do have our siege tanks finishing up here. The Blinker's still on the way through. Robo Facility and Nexus being added on. Add a couple probes in there as well. And a hallucination going to take a chance to poke away at a couple of bits and pieces for now. Refinery going down onto the natural. Mules dropping into place. Charge coming online. Nexus and the Robo Facility coming up as well. Medevac goes down the right side. 8 Marines inside of it. Just going to be aiming for that main. I actually think now that the Hellion job has been dealt with, you've got nothing in the corner of the main. So that could be a full unload and walk into the mineral line. Yeah, the gateway doesn't provide enough vision there, so that is a dark spot. We're just going to unload toward the mineral line as well, though. That works too. As we step in, and already the probes have to pull back. We recall. We recall enough to be scary, and the Stalker's blinking after the medevac. Medevac's away. Dropped a few Marines. Wasn't sure if he was going to get out of there. I think Percival just needs to see the recall and just respect it a little bit more, you know? Like, that should have been, I think, as soon as, you know, there's blink in play, as soon as you see that recall, I think you just gotta say, right, I'm out of here. Like, I know this medevac is not long for this world if I try and force the issue right now. So yeah, I think you gotta be a little bit better about that, perhaps. T-Zelt's coming about, charge on the way, Robo Bay and Gateways in production as well, continue to bring those up. +1, combat shield coming through, Marine Marauder, medevac coming in as well, a couple extra barracks coming online. Bay finishes, we have obviously a bit of a terror move out pushing down. A handful of Stalkers there, supply definitely favors Percival at the moment, but we'll see what Skills can do. I mean, a little bit scary. He's only just starting the Colossus, and there's going to be the drop on the right side as well to maybe pull you a bit out of position here as well. 1 Marine going to see the Zealot on the left. The Marine's actually going to do okay, trading with those Stalkers for a second. We actually escape with that medevac for the moment. Now the Zealots on the left side going to have to do their thing. Tanks kind of getting surrounded though. This felt like it had a lot of opportunity for Percival, but that just was not the fight. I actually think if that medevac and Marines that was on the right side was actually joined up with that other army, it would have gone better, to be honest. So it's gathering, hallucination pops, just going to see the Colossus popping out, a few Stalkers joining up together. And Zealot Colossus continue to come through. Liberator's coming by. Wooden Mines in production. Thermal Lance building up as the little bit of bio going to try and get a dive towards the Colossus. The Zealots are going to come down. The Stalkers join up. few more Zealots getting warped in as well. We will have ourselves the back and forth. I don't think Percival can break through a Colossus, though. I think that's unrealistic. Unfortunately, he may not have a choice because he's committing to the 5 barracks, 2 bases. The Liberators are a great addition, mind you. Do we have enough Stalkers to go after those Libs? Yeah, we do. Percival just lost a little bit too much of that first wave of the Zealots, honestly. He actually does kill the Stalkers here. 1 Liberator is still going huge. We're going to have to lift up and back away. A reinforcing couple of Stalkers should be plenty in the end. I mean, Percival actually making a lot out of this in the end, and just a few Zealots left, plus a couple Colossus. Percival's army supply is still up there. He's going to turn that 1 Liberator around and go the other direction. Let's move out again. Another little scan, seeing what's up the bio. Thinking about moving around. Stalkers get it up. Marine goes down. Couple Marauders still moving about for a moment or two. You're going to see the sentry going down. I mean, Percival's doing a great job of keeping his army up there. I'm scared about the 2 Colossus. Now 3 Colossus. I mean, there's something we don't have a good answer for, but maybe if the Libs can get set in a good place. We'll have to see. Skillis is a 4-base Protoss against the 2-basing Terran right now. 1-1 in this best of 3. Pushing this one out to its limits a little bit. Big drop into the main. Get the Liberators in a good position here. Could be cool. We're going to go after that first medevac. Only 2 units died in that medevac. The problem for the Colossus here is that they're going to have to run into Liberators to really help. The Stalkers warp in on kind of the wrong side of things. The anti-air is non-existent, so it's just going to be Bio versus the Zealots. The Colossus have to take a long route around. The Liberators don't really know where to go. We're going to lift up the 1 medevac. Only 1 medevac lived there, which is maybe the bigger problem. Now you don't have healing, and now you don't have the drop potential that you had in this army previously, which is going to be a shame. It really is a little bit sad. Libs setting up again. Stalker's going to blink straight in. A couple Widow Mines doing their thing. 1 more Liberator sieging up, but we need these to desperately get rid of the Colossus. We are maybe going to start getting that opportunity. Stalkers will go down again as Skillis is scrapping to get this under control. Still, Percival maintaining the army supply lead. He's now reinforcing with medevacs, which I think is a great choice. Prism should be able to keep that Colossus safe, but we're going to drop the stim to kind of force it back, and in theory, you just get free probes here until a warping comes through, because the Colossus can't justify staying on the ground. It needs to keep being safe, so we get a few workers. Stalker count is growing, but the Stalkers are also a bit expensive, right? And it's also going to take the Zealot numbers away. So, let's see. SCVs are going to show up all of a sudden from Percival. He needs to win this fight right now. Widow Mines towards the Stalkers, maybe a little bit late, and I think a bunch of the SCVs got Widow Mined right there, as Percival just doesn't have what he needs, does he? Those Colossus are just a little too sturdy. They're a little bit too much. The one thing he's never been able to remove from the game is that Colossus count. And he is going to get chased away here now. Obviously, again, having to stop building Libs to build medevacs has completely slowed the potential of, like, further siege ups. And I think this is going to get to a point now where we're going to see Skillis with just a little bit too much. He has 1,000 minerals in the bank. And, well, this push out has maybe not been the prettiest. Do we have any anti-air? A couple of Marines to get rid of the Prism Warp in would have been huge. I mean, honestly, Percival does okay just because Skillis is pushing so quickly forward. Like, if Skillis just stopped and spent his money, I don't think there's ever really a point of contention here. That Colossus is low, by the way. Can't get into the prison because of the units already being in there. The Zealots were taking up the space. Skillis starts up a new Colossus, realizing that this actually might need to be replaced, but I do genuinely believe at this point that Zealots alone might just be good enough. Like, we may not even need the splash damage at this stage. Medevacs are completely drained of energy. The healing is going to be extremely limited from this point onward. 2-2 upgrade starting on the forges, back on the other side. The orbital setting up, upgrades still coming through. Fire steps up, the Zealots are going to be there. A couple Colossus and the Stalkers are going to go flanking away. We're just going to be seeing the Bio continues to chase these Zealots out of there for the moment. Ooh, good race, says Percival as he taps out of this one. There's one thing to know, GG, but dropping the good race has to kind of be brought up a little bit as we tap out of this game 3. Skillis gets the 2-1 victory and will go for the win in this PVT. And he will get up to a 2-0 scoreline in the tournament. GG's, as we will have that matchup wrapped up. Alright, we're going to hop on over to Europe, and we're going to get more StarCraft ready to go. Up next is going to be Sebastes versus Fant. Get that going in a couple of moments, guys, and after that, we're going to have ourselves some excitement in the form of ZVZ, would you believe? Would you believe? Alright, let's move some stuff over. Perfect. We'll just invite everyone in. We'll get this ready to go. I have to run the ads, though. Give me a second. Alright, we'll just give it a minute or so for ads, guys. Alright, sorry, just sorting a couple things out. And we should be able to go. So let's get into this. How long have we got on that? It's 2 minutes. I think we can start up a little bit of PvZ. Surely it's just going to be a Stargate opener. It's Fant, actually, so it might actually get a little bit interesting in terms of the opening. We'll see what happens here as we dive into our 4th match of the day. So this is back to the players who are 0-1 in the group right now. Sebastes and Fant looking to have a matchup here where I actually think this is super cool. Like, to me, this is a very competitive match. And the winner is obviously going to be right in the mix to keep that run going. The loser is going to be really in a very tough spot. So a lot being decided early on, even in this round 2. The result here will really shift the possible kind of trajectory for the players involved. So let's see what happens. As in the bottom left, it is going to be our yellow Protoss player dropping the GLHF. It is Sebastes. And in the top right, the blue Zerg is going to be Fant. This is another series that's from replay, guys. Again, the Krakow qualifier being today has taken a couple of the players from playing live, and they're obviously just going to pre-play instead. I believe Fant was participating in the Fant's participating in the qualifier, so yeah, just and Sebastes as well. I think they both are participating in the Krakow qualifier. So this one was played just last night, I believe. So yeah, obviously the series have to be fresh because we only knew about these matches on Friday. But yeah, this was just played yesterday. Again, we are always going to be respectful of the players' schedules, and if there's other stuff going on, especially when we overlap with the qualifier, I mean, it's just unlucky. I've had these dates written down for a long time, and the qualifiers came out of nowhere for Krakow, and I thought I'd actually kind of dodged them time-wise, but I didn't see that today's was a different time to yesterday's, so it happens. It's all good. And we take a few moments to set up in this TVZ game number 1. I don't really know what we're going to get out of these two, honestly. Like, I know Fant can be a very aggressive Zerg, can be very creative in a lot of the different ways that he sets up and plays, so I do think there's going to be some possible options as to maybe him spicing things up a little bit. We have Cybercore and a Nexus on the way through. We see an Assimilator added on as well. We get all of that ready. For the moment, just going to see this Overlord heading in toward the natural. And again, a couple of Queens, a couple of Zerglings all being built up. Everything looking pretty regular for the first few moments here. Nothing really too surprising for the early little bits of action. And Probe and the Adept all coming about. Just going to see the Nexus being brought through. The Link Speed is coming up. The Overlord going to come stepping over out towards the center. And the other Overlord just sitting here as well. Keeping an eye on everything. Adept being built up on the gateway, for example. And the Warp Gate starting on the side, of course. So all of that coming through. And our Stargate building from Sebastes as well. Is Heromarine vs. Goblin a live game or replay? This is the only other replay today. This is it. This is the end. Yeah. And this one I knew about yesterday, but the Showtime BabyMarine wasn't even really meant to be replay. It was like a last minute thing, so yeah. It was hence the fact that BabyMarine and Showtime was still playing when we actually started the show. So we probably could have actually just done it live, really. How's our lane gonna go nibbling? Shouldn't Heromarine vs. Goblin be being streamed right now? Nope, it's the last series of the day. It's after this and the ZVZ. It's a little confusing on the Wikipedia because the way they order the matches are not in chronological order of time played. There's obviously a mix of like upper and lower matches and 1-0s and 0-1s and stuff like that, so yeah, the Wikipedia, if you click on the little eye on the match, you can actually see what time it's going to be played at, or what time it's expected to be played at. Obviously, things can get delayed if the schedule goes off, which we're a little behind schedule right now, actually, which I'm not against, because the schedule is assuming a very quick day. We've somehow been very ahead of the schedule the last few days as well of European League, so nice to have one that maybe goes a little longer. The Oracle activating here, Zergling's taking some damage already, as we do have 2 Queens, 2 Drones, Hatchery, all coming up. The Oracle and the Nexus coming online as well. You see that Zergling continue to move about for the moment. A little bit of creep spread will step forward. Additional drones building through. And this Oracle actually heading to the upper right-hand side of the map, so we'll see the Oracle already. Heading up over there. Drops a little revelation down. Cryptum are going to get caught. Queens will be firing, and the Oracle taking some bits of damage for the early moments. And you have a couple of spores going to get set up as well. So it's going to see both of those taking some damage. The Queens are going to be there. Oracle still taking shots. Drones in production. 9 of them coming up. And the next Oracle of Sebastes is going to come in from that right-hand side. Look toward the natural, where a couple of drones are nibbling away at the minerals. And a couple of things, the Overlord coming about, +1 and Blink being produced here from Sebastes as well. Add a couple of gateways alongside that. And away we go. How much does a spore cost? 75. And that Stalker has got this Overlord looking to be up for grabs. Too cheap? Oh, I mean, it's 75 plus a drone, right? I mean, so it kind of costs 125. Even worth killing. I mean, it's like killing a drone, though. So, I mean, it depends what statement you're trying to make. I thought you were just asking how much does it cost to morph in a spore, but like, it's obviously worth more than just 75 minerals to kill it. Usually it's worthwhile. I mean, getting a drone is decent. Especially if the Oracle's already activated and there's nothing else to target. It's usually pretty worthwhile. +1 Blink both on the way in. The Temple Archives coming up as well. Need 2 additional gateways and a Robo facility will continue to come through for the moment as the Lings going to go jump onto that Robo and they're going to be able to take that down. So that's a cancellation on the Robo facility. The Lings get through and they begin to nibble up at a few of these probes. So they'll be able to get a little bit of damage done there as well. Temple Archives, additional gateways, all in production for the moment. Lings, Hydras going to set up as well. A couple of Overlords still in production. The Stalker's already poking up. Obviously, Blink not done just yet, but you've got the Stasis Wards to help you out, and the Oracles to protect you from the Lings. The whole point right now from Fant is to try and get to those Hydras. 7 of them on the way, so you get 7 Hydras coming up. As those 7 Hydras kick into play, they're going to be a pretty big positive. They're going to be something that's great to have kind of, to help you along here. And they will really help to push the Stalkers back a little bit too, especially if the Lings are up in front and tanking. Oracle, I'm just going to get into the mineral line, and this time they just drop a Revelation. Already Fant looking for the possibility of a bit of a counterattack here. Some Zerglings around the bottom side, some other Zerglings around on the left are going to try and poke their way in. And that Adept is already going to be in a little bit of trouble. A gateway and some fire as well, and the Lings actually going to jump onto this base. So Sebastes under some heavy pressure on both sides. Hydras are showing up too, as Fant is 74 drones. His economy is good. He is just going to get the cancel here and probably just play onwards. This is not like a committed attack where he's cut drones and he must attack right now. This was just a bit of a scare on the left side, allows the run by on the right side. Very nicely handled, honestly, across the board. Pretty well done there. As the Link Hydra continues to gather up together. And we do have the +1 missiles, bailing speed, Hydra speed, continuing to come through. The Oracle flies over the Hydras. Is not pretty. As you can see the Zerglings coming around as well. The Stalker's going to be there to push those Zerglings back. Now some Hippolyns are going to try and do their thing. We're going to run up to the front. Hydras are going to start getting stormed though, and that's going to be a little scary as we have, obviously, the Hydras got to be kind of well protected. Those Hydras are not cheap. They are expensive. You don't want to just be losing a bunch of them. That's a very daring blink in, but we do have the Storms to back it up. And we're going to stop the Zerglings from wrapping around here. Now we're going to continue to chase the Hydras. I understand right now you maybe want to blink after these Hydras. You're still going to have the Lings coming in at you. So we can do with another Storm, and actually just going to morph the Archon. So all the High Temple get Archon morphed. And the Zealots are going to get a full cleanup there on the top side. And the Archons will finish off the last few Lings on the bottom. And Sebastes gets a complete pushback on this initial army of Fant. So Fant going to have to fall away and look at this from a little bit of a different angle at this stage, it seems. Void Ray coming up, +2 attack upgrade on the Forge still. We do have our Fleet Beacon and Stargate continuing to build. 2 cannons coming up from Sebastes on the 4th base as well. So we continue to bring that through. Infestation Pit building on the main base. Hydra wanting to try and attack forward here as we just see the couple of Lings going down. Storm getting hit. Zealot Archon going to chase. 6 workers going down because the Banes get through over here. Kaboom for 7. Unfortunately, one Bane does not blow up all the probes anymore, so we'll just see, not without a lot of upgrades. So we'll not see anything happen there. There's not even melee upgrades in the game, actually. It's pure missile upgrades right now. As the Infestation Pit is about to finish. 9 more Hydras on the way out. There's a nice little run-by attempt, but I think it's still Sebastes' game in terms of who's looking more comfortable right now. We've got a Protoss who's set up onto a good army and is continuing to tech forward into more and more tech units. You've got a Zerg who's going to try and get towards Lurkers. Maybe if you get there, then I feel okay for Fant, but the way his army's currently set up, I think if Sebastes went across the map and tried to fight him, I think he'd have a very good time. The concern is you're going to be probably fighting on creep if that happens, and you're going to be always open to counterattacks, and Fant is already going to threaten with one of these. But I mean, you're pretty well defended here, no? Like, there's cannons. I think Sebastes... It'd be interesting to see kind of a more confident player, maybe, you know, someone a bit more experienced, maybe in control of this army, because I wonder if they would just go after having cleaned up what they've cleaned up so far. At the same time, Sebastes looks at this and probably says, you know what, this game only gets better from here, right? Like, I get all the freedom to start building my tech units. Like, he's going to have Tempest up before there's Lurkers on the map, so he's going to have that answer already kind of put in place. So yeah, I mean, maybe just going across the map too soon is one of those moments where you do open the door for the Zerg to kind of win a fight and get back into it. But I think in this case you're opening the door for Lurkers to come onto the field, when in reality you probably could have done well trading against Link Hydra across the other side. The Hydras will pull back around the right. +3 attack, +1 air weapons coming up. Tempest and Immortal on the way in. We had some extra cannons and batteries as well. Nexus down on the front, going to get our 5th base started as the Hydras do get through. Going to find that kill. Removal of the Nexus. Double Spire on the way up as we start to really enter the later stages of this game. Fant obviously setting up for the Spire against the Tempest and so on. Sebastes just getting into the Tempest to deal with the Lurkers. So everyone is kind of prepping for just the next stage. Like, you know, Lurkers are out. The attack units are continuing to build. This game really is just continuing through. A lot of bases coming up as well, right? I mean, Seb already has 4 bases. Going to get his 5th set up here. Adds the static defense on preemptively as well. Link Bane and Hydra continue to join up for the moment. Just going to see the extra army kind of getting through into the center. Take down a couple of creep teamers already. Overlord is going to get picked off. Fant actually going to be supply blocked for the moment, so Fant supply blocked. Lurkers and Banes on the right side as well. The Storm comes down. A few Zerglings getting hit. +3 missiles, adrenal glands, +1 flyer carapace and attacks. Obviously they're important because we're going to start getting those corruptors to be a bit more powered up. Nice Storm on the Lurkers. Going to soften those up and makes them a little bit more achievable to attack into already. And even just easier targets for the Tempest as well, right? If those Tempests shooting, they actually kill Lurkers. It feels so good. On the bottom side, we have got a significant number of Lurkers here as well. It's going to request Sebastes to actually do a little bit more of an army split to truly get across and to try and deal with this. Those Lurkers in position, and they are knocking away at the cannons. Battle Knight goes down, actually cancelling the warp in. We push away comfortably on the top side, but it is again about splitting correctly and dealing with this from multiple angles. And right now, those Lurkers on the bottom are putting some good work in. Another storm coming through. Going to continue to put that toward the Lurkers there. The army's still pushing up at the top. A couple of creep tumors going down. Oh, a nice storm, and the Hydra's getting hit. The hatchery will take some damage. Another storm, 2 storms. Lings and Hydras getting absolutely blasted. Archons will begin to morph in. We see the couple of Lurkers getting picked away. Queen's going down. Lurkers still getting taken out. This much from Sebastes is kind of what I thought we'd see a little bit earlier on. I mean, we have a few Lurkers left over here, so we have still got something happening, but I think the reality is, like, these few units should actually be able to get rid of them, to be honest. And then you've got this Protoss army over here that was looking very good. Apparently now has to take a second and stop and chill out. We're going to recall the Tempest. I actually really like that, because we're going to save those units. The Immortals are still going to do okay on the ground for a while. I think prioritizing saving the Tempest is going to be the most important thing for the future. And these Immortals are even going to walk away from this fight, so I'm going to enjoy that a lot. As this was huge. I mean, we got rid of this base here. This base is not mining right now, so it really is limiting the economy of Fant in the game. And you can see Sebastes on the supply lead is looking to be pretty comfortable in the current state of affairs. Lings, Hydras, picking their way through these rocks. We do see additional Lurkers coming up. Extra Zerglings on the way through. It's going to see those units continue to knock away at the rocks, so the rocks will be going down very shortly. Step forward, the hatchery going to be taken out. Just see a couple of drones. They'll be a little bit exposed there as well. Storm already coming into place. I mean, Fant is supply blocked. He keeps losing Overlords and Overseers in these trades, and it's just so frustrating when the game is already kind of feeling pretty rough for you. And then on top of that, you're going to have to rebuild your supply units, right? 6 Overlords on the way. It took a while for him to realize the supply block too. He had money to spend, but he just wasn't spending it. Now it's going to be even delayed from what he can build because he needs the Overlords to finish first. These Lurkers chased away once more. At least we're trying to preserve them, because obviously at this stage I think we could really do with having a couple of those Lurkers at the very least kept alive. So we'll do what we can there. As the Tempest goes straight onto this hatchery, it will take some damage. Corruptors stepping forward, and this time the Tempest do not have an easy way out. They just kind of clump up and let the Storm do some work on the Corruptors. He obviously wants to finish the hatch off. He should be able to, and he gets it. So good job on that. As we now step over to the right-hand side, and a couple more creep tumors going to be up for grabs as the Lurkers continue to settle in as well. Well, Fiend setting up about, we're going to have Lurkers on the top side getting cancelled. Those Hydras actually have to run away. Again, Fant is just in a desperate state of recovery, right? Like, he's always trying to recover here as he blinks in after those Corruptors and the Storm hits a little late. But yeah, 12 drones going down. Once again, its economy losses is just being made difficult. I mean, these Lurkers are going to show up. I actually think Seb could... I honestly think he can just click into it, right? Like, those Lurkers are not immediately burrowed. I want to think he can take a fight there, but did he actually not have detection, maybe? I think he does have an Observer in there. Maybe he's afraid of losing the Observer mid-fight and then you're in the middle of Lurkers. I mean, it's always responsible to just step away when a bunch of Lurkers get burrowed up next to your army. I think from the Observer's point of view, we look at this Protoss army, it looks incredible. We look at the Zerg army, it really feels very scrapped up. So, yeah, I understand the caution from the Sebastes, but I think it is... we're at a point where Fant is just in a rough enough position that if Sebastes does just decide to attack into the Lurkers, I think it would be fine for him. And it would go well enough, especially because, you know, Fant's just not really reinforcing too heavily because he's struggling on base count. This hatchery goes down here, that's not even a cancel, that's straight up kill once again. Stepping towards the front, and an Overlord will go down. The Lurker's going to figure out if they can get sieged up or not. I mean, that's the top of the side, 12 o'clock base, now that's going to fall, and then you really get reset to just 4 bases, and again, it's just economy you can't really deal with over a long term. Like, you need better than this. The Corruptors do kind of chase in for the Tempest, they don't die. The Lurkers are going to play them way into position as well, which means that they will survive for the moment. A couple of Niduses to the bottom side of the map, and they might have something to say as we may get a little bit of a mix-up, but Sebastes is already on the right side with some Zealots. He's doing a great job of always having 2 things going on. Like, the main army's moving about, and then there's always a harassment kind of thing going on at the same time. Now he's going to have to pull back and deal with this group of Lurkers. Might even be justified for a recall, but it's on cooldown, so you cannot. I mean, he might actually just push. It's funny because those lurkers are so limited in numbers. He actually needs the lurkers here to defend, so he might just have to pull them back and give up on the offense. Well, it might just end before then anyway, as the lurkers get kind of crushed here. The hydras get stormed. The corruptors that remain are low, and they're never going to be enough to change the game. I mean, at this point, it doesn't even matter about the Tempest. I'm pretty sure the ground army is just always going to be good enough. This base goes down, but like I say, Sebastes is making good choices. He's not going to run around. He's not going to play Fant's game of chasing him all over the place. He's going to make very responsible choice just to kind of stick in this and to kind of push through and just go after bases. And again, if you take my base, I'm going to take multiple of yours. It's a perfectly fine trade to take in the scenario Sebastes is in, who is the player who has money in the bank, who is rich, has been trading effectively all game, 37 to 23,000 resources lost. Sebastes having a fantastic opening map here in the 0-1 series against Fant, and our Protoss player taking a very cozy first game. This really felt good for him. Like, there was a couple blinks early that was like, ooh, is that a little too scary, just blinking straight into that many hydras, but it was fine, it worked out, and he was able to really play from a very strong position from that point on. GG's, and we'll be heading into a game 2 in a couple of moments. Just run some ads, guys. I am aware, like, this game was already 80 minutes. I am aware, I think these are plays where if Fant isn't going to do something crazy early, like, there is that kind of possibility for, like, a later game, kind of longer game setup, so I'm just going to play it safe and run the ads just in case we do get something that kind of goes on a little while. So just take a few moments. Before we start this one up, thanks for your patience. Obviously, the ads do support the stream. Ad revenue is super important for us being able to run these events. It's one of the major parts of the income every month now. Ad revenue makes up, I think, easily 50% of what we are making on the channel on Twitch, so yeah, we don't mess around when it comes to ad revenue. Yeah, it was over 50% in the last 30 days. 30 days before that, it was over 30% again. 30 days before that, it was over 50%, sorry. So over half the revenue on the channel is coming from the ads, so that's why we play them. We gotta use them ads. We gotta power them up. We gotta use them to our advantage, guys. In the day and age where we don't have as much sub-support and stuff, gotta do what we gotta do. Unfortunately, that means pushing that ad button. That's okay. Like I say, make the most out of it, and it helps us to run more StarCraft. And the very rare occurrence that it slows us down here, just to ensure that we're not impacting the game too much. Although I think that we're probably good to go now into Pylon. Get it started. Countdown and take long as we go into Pylon for map number 2. And we'll see what sort of a game these two are going to have planned for us here as we get our next game coming up. After this, Scarlet will battle Mixu in a ZVZ, and we'll also have a PvT at the end of the day, Goblin and Heromarine rematch from that EWC qualifying matchup. What's up, Tyler? Visit Alabama. Thank you so much for the Prime sub for the 2 months. Welcome back, and thank you for supporting the channel. Alrighty, guys, we got ourselves the Protoss in the bottom right, taking the 1-0 lead in this series. Can he win this out and get to a 1-1 match score? It is Sebastes in the bottom right corner of the map. In the top left, our blue Zerg is going to be Fant. Game 2. Probe across the map. Follow this for a couple of moments. Get ourselves settled in and see where we're going to head to. Again, Scarlet versus Mixu, Heromarine versus Goblin coming up after this as well. Match pool, no gas just yet from Fant is the opening. Trunk coming to Probe taking some shots, nibbled at for the moment. Cybercore and the Nexus coming through and online. And that's set up as well as the Probe will get trolling out in the front for a moment or two. Hatch about to finish, spawning pool about to complete. Not a lot going on. Obviously, early game PvZ sometimes is that a little bit of a slow-going matchup. There's not always a lot going on taking place, right? So it's a matchup that does have a little bit of setup to it. A couple lings gathered together. That warp gate is on the way in. Stargate building through. Yeah, drones hatchery coming up and online. The lings will make their way all across the map, so they're going to have a look and see what's going on. Adept will shade. And Zergling's getting chased. Gonna go after one. Get both of them to half HP. One and two. Boom. KO. So clean those up, and we have a third Adept plus the Oracle building, so we will have all of our harassment able to kind of step onto the map very shortly here from Sebastes. Fant will have to figure out what it is that he would like to do in these coming moments. Oracle on the warp gate building through, the Adept probes gate coming online as well. That one Adept trying to shade forward for the moment. Two Adepts together, just going to block the Evo chamber as well, so they're actually going to get in. This is big. It's 4 workers, probably, I was going to say probably 5 with this last Adept still alive, but the drones did pull away, so just going to be the 4. We get one final Zergling. Not bad though, 4 drones, and the drones had to pull back for a little bit as well, so a little bit of lost mine time, takes a second to reset. Oracle dives into the natural, we'll just go for 2, 3 drones. Gonna get 4, but he's gonna lose the Oracle. Yeah, unfortunately just got a little bit too greedy, but 4 drones extra is nice. That's now 8 workers killed. If Fant is behind on workers for a few moments there, it does mean you're without the Oracle. It does mean there's one less Oracle for the future. We lost the Adepts as well, so it's arguably a little scary, but I don't think Fant can do much to really punish it just yet. As work damage is good. Twilight counts on 2 more gates coming online, and this Oracle was even turning around a little bit just to prep in case those Zerglings did get to the other side. They actually are going to activate even and just go after the rest of these Zerglings for a little bit, so go for a little bit of a cleanup already. Twilight counts on 2 more gateways. Building up right now. The assimilator about to finish. Our Nexus finishing soon. Oh, the glaives! Ooh! The glaives off of quite a bit of damage done early on. Could be pretty scary. We'll see what Fant does. Right now he's probably in like catch-up mode in his brain, but he really needs to recognize that this is a little bit dangerous. And that resonating glaives kicking in could give you a very good timing window here for the pros to do some damage. And if you're kind of skipping a road drawing, safety road drawing and so on, pretty a big deal too. Oh, this is also interesting. So Fant's Ling gets in, sees the extra gas taken, but it's not mining. Now, he saw it wasn't mining, but if you presume that's about to start mining, you're not worrying about glaives. Oh, he starts the left. He's dead. Is he dead? I think he's dead. It's not good. Like, you can survive these things still. We do see sometimes the Zerglings, they surprise me, and they win fights, which I don't think they're going to win when it comes to these scenarios, but to me, this is kind of brutal. Like, I feel as though this is going to be Adept showing up with no prior warning. And yeah, I think Fant just hasn't quite picked up on anything which is going on here, unfortunately. Yo, what's up? Hi, man, Junior. Thank you for the 30-month resub on the Prime. 4 more drones going down already. Oracle getting in and showing some pain. We're just droning and linging, building melee upgrades. These 4 Adepts obviously are about to be accompanied by a whole bunch more. And the Lings, no, the Lings are going to commit, and they don't realize it's Blaze. We're going to lose a bunch of Lings initially as well. Crypt Tumor is denied. And now, as Fant, you have to figure out how the hell you fight. What? 14 Adepts? With Lings and Queens. I mean, it isn't fun. We run away with the drones over that way. The Oracle's actually going to find the drones and just chase those. The Adepts will threaten the shade over here, where we're just going to commit to the fight. The Lings do not get a good wraparound at all. A lot of them are just not fighting. I mean, at least you're fighting with the Queens. The Queens are obviously able to transfuse. They're able to add some damage in against these Adepts. 24 more Lings on the way. They're all going to spawn in horrible places. The Adepts are now going to maybe get some drones here as well from the main. 11 workers have already been killed in this set of attacks. And again, the Queens have transfusions, but not forever. These Queens will begin to fall, and that's going to be an issue too as the Adept shade back down toward the third base. You can just see there's never a comfortable amount of Zerglings here at all for Fant. And this is going to turn into GG. Sebastes takes the game number 2 and a 2-0. What a result for Sebastes. As he now gets to be 1-1 in this group and really get competitive into the next round. Very, very cool. And GG's, alright. Getting a little bit exciting up in here. Getting a little bit exciting. We will be heading into our next matchup then in a couple of moments, which is going to be between Mixu and Scarlet. Just need to find the players. I'll be able to go. And we're pretty much on schedule as well, only 10 minutes behind. Nice. Cool. Alright, a couple moments then, guys. I guess we'll run the ads just in case, because we're going to have videos and stuff still, so we'll take a few moments and get ready to resume. Awesome. We may have finished second place, not Cyril, but still. Yeah, it's the next best thing. Mixu. Mixu. Play's on the way, guys, so just a couple minutes, get some videos done. Probably be like 3 or 4 minutes to get in game, but we're getting set up. And gonna be the ZVZ and then Heromarine Goblin to round out the day in the TVP. Big matchup to decide who gets 2-0, who will be 1-1. It's gonna be pretty exciting. There's gonna be a lot of players 1-1. There's gonna be a lot of possible matchups there. This the format continues to get very fun. Obviously, the 0-2 players are going to be kind of fighting for tournament lives as well in the near future too. So, yeah, again, exciting. Again, at the end of today's games, we will have the full kind of. We will see what the bracket looks like. We'll see what the matches look like for round 3 that will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday. So. How many victories are required in order to advance to the next group? I'm pretty sure if you go 3-2, you make playoffs. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to work out at. But there might not be a clean cut of that, so yeah. Can I show the bracket? I can show the bracket because these guys are videoing. I mean, it's just because obviously it's not actually a bracket, it's actually just it's a group. So this is where it kind of stands right now. Let me put on full screen. So it's just a group, but like everyone plays 5 best-of-3s. So this is where we're kind of at with Beyond Eutherm and Maxback Skillis and Harsum at 2-0. Heromarine and Goblin will play soon at 1-0. And then Showtime, Shameless, Sebastes, Percival, Mana, Jumi, Young Yakov, Nikorakt, and Christiana and Night Phoenix are all 1-1. Scarlet Mixu about to play in a 0-1 matchup. And then Geralt, Art, Fant, BabyMarine, and Hydra at 0-2. So, again, round 3 we'll see the 2-0 players play each other, 1-1 players play each other, the 0-2 players play each other. Do you think there could be players who advance at 2-3, but not players who don't advance at 3-2? I think it's very likely, with no ties, that it's just straight up 12 players. I think 12 players is just a straight up cutoff in terms of how it works out, to be honest. I think it just, I think it works out perfectly at 3-2 advances and 2-3 doesn't. I think. But maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe there'll be a shock result or something of that effect. Videos have started up here, guys. Torches, Last Fantasy, Persephone. a rare ZVZ. We don't get to see this matchup a whole lot, so make the most of the Zerg versus Zerg while you can. And there was a time gone by when in Europe, you couldn't escape the ZVZs. Every Go for SC2 final was a ZVZ. Snoot and Guru and Nurcho dominating those events with some of the Korean Zergs being very good in those events as well, like Hyun. There was a way, and then obviously Stefano rose up. I mean, there was really a time where you just could not get away from the European ZVZ. Like, you just could not. And nowadays, it couldn't be rarer. Yeah, it's fun that, because I have to cast a lot of those Go for SC2 Sundays and stuff, and thinking back, it's like, it's really kind of a wild time. It was like back in the little WardiTV office space that we had. Cast Go for SC2 Sundays. Always ZVZ. Like, back then, I didn't even know how bad ZVZ was for viewership. Like, nowadays, I'm like, ugh, mirror matchup. Back then, I didn't care, you know? That's how long ago it was. That's how far back we go. First map, Ultra Love. Love it. Let's get this hosted up. Second map, Tokamak. And our third map remaining should be... what was our last map? Torches. Oh no, Torches got vetoed too. I've got no idea. Magnatha vetoed, Persephone vetoed, Last Fantasy vetoed, Pylon, Leylines. Map pool is really tough to remember. Incorporeal. Perfect. Drag people around, and we should be pretty much good to go into some ZVZ, guys. Against the long stalemate didn't help people love ZVZ. Yeah, I mean, nobody loves Swarm Host in general. That was not a thing of anybody's liking, you know, not in the slightest. Mixu readies up, waiting for Scarlet to do the same, and we can go into the rare matchup of ZVZ. Let's do it, guys. Scarlet versus Mixu, Zerg versus Zerg. Get this underway. Now, obviously, Scarlet, one of the players that's not European, but playing in the European League. A little bit less impactful for her, actually. It's pretty nice for her to play European League, because the matches are usually through the daytime. This is one of the worst match times for her, because it's the morning in NA. And obviously, ping to Europe isn't so bad. So, actually, the European League is not so bad for the NA players. So, if you can play through the day, that is. Obviously, not everyone is able to do that, so... but yeah, obviously mentioned before that we're not actually region locking anyone out of tournaments anymore. We're just going to give, like, server preferences and time zone preferences and stuff like that, so... That's why Scarlet's allowed to play. She made it through the qualifier, playing European server, European time zones, etc. So she's very welcome to be a part of the event. As in the bottom left-hand side, we're going to have ourselves the red Zerg then. In the ZVZ, as we see the extracted tricks to kick us off, it is going to be Scarlet, our red Zerg player. Is she west coast of Canada? I believe she's east coast, no? I think she's east coast. We usually play East EU East with Scarlet, or EU East EU, so pretty sure she's on the east. Top right-hand side, the blue Zerg player is Mixu. Obviously just had him at Home Story Cup last week. See what he can do in the Zerg versus Zerg. He lost to Skillis after taking a map. I mean, honestly, like I said this before, but both these players actually played really good first-round matches. Scarlet against Percival was actually pretty much a banger. And Mixu against Skillis was pretty darn cool, though I did feel like Mixu was not meant to win that series, but he did manage to steal a game away. The other games were pretty convincing. Scarlet Percival was probably one of the highlights of round 1 of the competition. 10 AM for her, yeah. It's not super early, but she did tell me, she was like, I'll be there, but I will not be there early. Which I thought was a fair statement. Fortunately, today has not been super ahead of schedule like yesterday was. Then we might have had a problem, but yeah, today's been actually kind of nice. We had a couple longer games. I think we're going kind of at the right pacing today. You know, we're gonna be at a 3.5 hour stream. That's what we're looking for. I mean, I'd like to have longer streams, but 6 best of 3 is unrealistic to truly get like super long days out of. So Things coming up, Ling's getting built, Overload coming through. Things be coming in, a couple of queens coming by. And drones on the way up as our Zerglings head across for a couple of moments. I see that Ling speed coming through. A couple Lings, the drones all coming about here. Just going to have the hatchery going down on the right side as well. Just going to get that set up for the moment. And yeah, just Ling speed coming through from both players. Bane Nest will start from Mixu. Scarlet's a little bit, a second or two behind on the hatch. We'll see if she starts the Bane Nest now as well with her next set of minerals. She's going to try and go around it. Bane Nest will go down, the hatchery still building. See ourselves with Ling speed coming up as well. Queen building through, drones on the way. A few Lings getting their nibbles in. And, I mean, Scarlet's going to build a few more Zerglings right now, so she will fall behind on drones. Just that later Bane Nest, so maybe mix it with a couple of Banes, get some defense here, and we'll just net himself a worker lead would be quite nice. Hatchery's still coming online, the Rotron will build. And again, the Baneling Nest is already coming up online here from Scarlet. Getting that Baneling Nest up and running, the Zerglings will start a fight. Queen coming through. The Zerglings are going to get that. They're actually going to get the wraparound on the Queen, so the Queen will fall. That's actually really nice. A couple of Banes just aren't in reach, and this hatchery's going to go down. This is a big deficit. Hatchery cancelled when you're playing kind of the mirror is a huge deal. I mean, we are going to have Scarlet obviously down quite a few drones, but now she's immediately caught up. And the problem is as well for Mixu is that it's very tough to build units when you're down the hatchery as well. So that's going to be an issue on top of everything else. And Scarlet backs away with those Zerglings, and I mean, the Rotron finished from Mixu, but I don't know if you can really justify building roaches. You're going to, what, build roaches and run across the map with them? It seems terrible when your opponent has the Ling-based map control. And Scarlet's going to have a Rotron of her own to get defenses up if needed too. Mixu will just re-expand, but I mean, this is just a tough position. Like, this is a scenario where you just, you know, the answer to this is just not get here in the first place, right? It's a mirror matchup. Then your opponent kill your third base off without doing anything super in particular. I mean, again, Scarlet didn't make as many drones. She built Lings. And I think Mixu just got one too many round of drones out, right? Like, usually in ZVZ and Ling versus Ling or Ling Bane versus Ling Bane, you see one player kind of get like a round of drones ahead, so like 4 or 5 workers ahead while the other guy makes Lings. And then they attack with those Lings, so you make defensive Lings, and then they catch up on drones, and then they maybe take a little lead. And it ping-pongs back and forth, but Mixu got up to like an 8-worker lead, which obviously seems a little extreme. Supply block for Scarlet now, as she will get the Overlord back on track, and she will be heading into the roaches of her own as she goes across the map already. Looking for a cancel on the third again, she's going to see the roaches. I mean, Mixu is just spamming nothing but roaches. Now he actually does add on a couple of drones. Scarlet is droning heavily as well with 7 currently in production. The Bane defense is good. Scarlet's third is kept healthy. And these Lings even get in the main base. They're going to get to see... Oh, God. Scarlet's just all over the place. Mixu going to have drones dying in the main. Third hatchery cancelled on the third. I think it's fair to say that this has gone from bad to worse. Was that cancel? No, it was a kill as well. It's not even the money back and refunded for Mixu. Yep, I think it's time for Scarlet just to head home with these roaches, build nothing but units, and then defend and win this game. Mixu's not even going to try to attack. He knows he's completely been out-zerged here in this opening map, and Scarlet will take the first game of the ZVZ Best of 3 as she looks to sort her scoreline out in this tournament to 1-1 if she can win the series. Next, we might be heading into an 0-2 scenario. Tokamak going to be map number 2. Let's get this hosted. So for everyone to join us here, game number 2. Too early for Scarlet. She wants to go back to bed. I mean, that was just relentless, though. Just took the advantage. Don't get me wrong, getting the hatchery early is a big advantage, but like did not give any chance for Mixu to step back in the game, right? Just saw the advantage, took the advantage, bam, bam, bam. Was not letting Mixu back in. was very well played from that point on, honestly. Just, like I say, completely shut the doors on any possible bounce back. Kept the pressure up, kept the pressure going. And we are ready for round 2 of the ZVZ. Ready, go, go. Ready, says Mixu. Let's kick ourselves into game number 2, as Mixu will try and tie us up. Scarlet will try and tie her group stage score up with a win. Boom, boom, boom. Exciting stuff. Talk and Mac coming online. I've been complimenting my shirt today. It's the compliment shirt. No, I have not. I thought I was going to get away with it. I literally thought this. No one mentioned it for like the first time ever. After I made such a big deal about it last time as well. Oh. Yeah, now Nelly got through the stream, huh? In the top right side, down a game is going to be Mixu trying to work his way back into this Zerg on Zerg action. With the Queen of Blades in the bottom left, Scarlet. Compliment streak continues. Nice. A big one to keep track of. I'm pretty sure this one's just because I ranted about it last time, though, you know? Enter on the low ground, no surprises. Going to mirror each other for the first few moments. Again, Mixu was slightly faster on the third last game, was significantly faster on the Bane Nest, but that did not save him from the drone cut Ling production that Scarlet went for. Hatchgasm pool all coming through, the drones on the way. And again, we just take a couple of moments to get set up. In the early stages here, nothing too wild happening just yet. Yeah, Overlord then coming about, again hatching the pool coming up for a couple of moments to get that set up for now. Get that rolling. So far so good, as we just have a couple queens, a couple lings, all continuing by for the moment. Zerglings will make their way up. A couple lings going to cross each other by. Yeah, not really much difference between the two right now. Even the gas count is very, very similarly ticking up at the same moments. Zergling just on a little bit of a cruise. Obviously, scouting is very nice at this stage. Trying to keep on track of whether your opponent has units coming in toward you or not is pretty much something you're always looking to, you know, be informed about, right? So, just trying to keep that little bit of info up and running. Is about to finish up, but this time we just got players just droning heavily. Scarlet's already past the work account she went into last game, so is already going to be storming through that portion of the game. You have the Bane and the Queen coming up as well. Feeling step by. And again, the Evo Chamber and Rotron just coming online for a couple of moments here. The Extractor coming through as well, so a little bit of building up. Being done for the early stages, getting everything ready. So you have enough few Zerglings gathering too, as we have again Rotron, Evo Chamber building for the moment, getting them into play. Missile upgrade early from Mixu, so he's just going to completely bypass kind of building a lot of Ling Bane. He's going to build some Banelings now defensively. Scarlet actually already has some Zerglings showing up and some drones in trouble, but the Bane should help to defend that. Scarlet's also just droning, building a Roadtron. No Eva Chamber from Scarlet, though. I mean, this is going to be very aggressive from Mixu, because there's still no lair either, right? So this could just turn into like a +1 missile Roach timing attack. And if Scarlet starts to tech up into the lair and Roach speed and so on, she's just kind of droning away happily. It's the kind of attack that could definitely kind of catch you unprepared. I mean, I remember Sola doing this a lot against Raynor back a little while ago. And it's definitely the kind of thing which I think could definitely continue to happen. That starts now from Mixu, though. That obviously takes away the idea of this potentially being aggressive. With the lair coming up, it's more likely that this is going to be a bit more of a macro flavor in play. As the Zerglings on the top just scouting about, cleaning up the way. 4th hatch coming down. Scarlet's already on the way to her 4th hatch, so she's not concerned about that at all. Things getting over here. Actually, maybe her 4th hatch will be in some trouble here. Zerglings will buy a few moments. We have a Baneling on the way through. I don't think that's going to be in time, so that has to be a cancel. So the 4th will be delayed slightly. Success from Mixu as he gets the cancellation on base 4. Now Scarlet just throws the infestation bit down, so she's showing where she wants to go to. A couple of infestors joining in, potential to go into the hive and some vipers maybe. Obviously this is mostly just roaches, so you're thinking what goes well with roaches and roach versus roach, and I think just a couple of infestors right now would be maybe the better approach. It's very expensive again to lure because you probably die while trying to do that, so I think reality is just a couple of infestors slip in and we try and use those to our advantage to take some good fights. Overlords on that right hand side, there are the 2 infestors starting up already. Hydrolurker Viper game would be nice. If we get a Hydrolurker Viper game in ZVZ, that would be incredible. It's definitely not the common occurrence. As Mixu has Roach Speed just coming through. Never really turned this into a timing or anything. I was thinking he might get aggressive at first, but he started up the lair, and with that you kind of do expect this to be more so focused on just the longer game instead, and obviously Scarlet kind of matching her opponent tech-wise and advancing with the infestors, so Drop a Lord actually on the way up here from Mixu. Both players have the Overlord speed, so they both have Drop a Lord potential at any point in time, right? The main barrier of Drop a Lords at this point is just having the speed, so you can actually, maneuver them around and get them into dropping position more quickly. Otherwise, slow Drop a Lords are generally not a fun time for the dropper. What's up, the guy one? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 51-month resub. Keep it up. You know it. I got it. Thank you so much for the 51 months of love. Appreciate it. Uh-oh. What the infestors doing here? No! Oh, what a random find for Mixu. Oh, that's brutal, because that's an infestation pit and then 2 infestors. It's a lot of investment that then just gets completely denied, and now you're missing the energy as well. So even if the infestors pop back out, they've not got the energy to fungal, right? Oh, there's going to be less fungals available less quickly. I mean, Scarlet defensively positioned here is nice, but the 2 infestors, just what were they doing over there? And then obviously the Drop a Lord just flying across and finding them is just bad luck. Scarlet does not have as many Ravagers, but if she breaks through the Roach line, it's going to be good. She actually gets a good bile onto those Ravagers. Eats some biles as well, though. She's still behind about 20 supply at the moment. Can't help but feel a lot of that is the fact that she's now built 4 infestors. She's yet to see any real advantage from those. That's a fungal, though, as the infestor pops out. So they do spawn with 1 fungal nowadays. But like I say, I mean, the previous infestors probably would have had a 2nd fungal already, So it's actually kind of a big deal as we do see Scarlet with the fungals doing some work, but now the infestor's out of energy. They're not going to do much, and she kind of needs... Well, she doesn't have Roach Speed either. I didn't even notice the lack of Roach Speed on those Roaches. They waddle across. Yeah, the lack of Roach Speed is going to be pretty rough as well. So it looks like Mixu is on track to tie up this game 2. And to take us into a ZVZ game 3. Again, all of our Zerg action in one series here today. Well, we had Fant before against Sebastes. But, yeah, this just went, honestly, the first 2 infestors just dying. I really feel like that has such an impact. Because Scarlet lives here. Like, she lives on, she survives. Obviously, not having Roach Speed is a bit of a shame as well, though. It's going to be tough. She's still behind by about 10 army supply, behind a few workers. She will be catching up in +2 soon, but not just yet. Next fight already breaking out. Does Scarlet have the numbers to help her win this here? She's got the infestors trying to get enough energy to be part of the next fight soon. And she has no Roach Speed, so... Sorry, bless me. So no chase potential for Scarlet. Fighting around that right-hand side. I mean, again, we can maybe get a fungal or so in here to try and help. Scarlet's trying to split her defenses up. Does finish up +2 missiles. That helps. There's only one Ravager available for Mixu, who really is just spamming Roaches and kind of going. I actually think this is going to start turning, dare I say, into Scarlet's favor a little bit. The extra round of units showing up from Mixu helps, as he does have Burrow, but he burrows the Roaches that were fungled initially. Scarlet will just begin to build an Overseer, realizing that detection is necessary. I mean, this is a lot closer than it was. Scarlet equal on upgrades now. Actually going to start the Carapace upgrade to give her a lead there. Still about 6 workers behind, but she's going to overwhelm in numbers here. Mixu still part of this fight. I mean, he built Burrow and so on, but he's not going to get much value out of it. Saves those Roaches for a few moments. And Scarlet, yeah, just keeps on building the Overseers to ensure that she can kind of deal with this in the future as well, in case this turns into Burrowed Roach harass. The numbers are going to gather up. Yeah, Burrow, but no tunneling close. The Roaches can't move underground. I feel like both players have been a little sloppy on their builds here, to be honest. Kind of expect tunneling close at this sort of point, right? As Scarlet's defense is going to be good again. I mean, at this point, I think Mixu has to stop just building units and running into Scarlet, because she's clearly, at this point, she's stabilizing, you know? And yeah, she's down a few drones, but the trades are beginning to be efficient for her, so the few drone difference is not going to be that big of a deal. That's a nice kill on the spine, but you're actually still going to lose 2 Roaches at the very least for it, so it's still not exactly ideal. As Mixu starts his own Carapace upgrade. Scarlet again adding in the Infestor, so just one more Infestor being brought up. That's going to give it back to get it back to 2. Obviously, in the long term, Fungal's going to be very effective in the fight. So if that's going to be the difference between maxed out armies, then it is going to be big for Scarlet. And just to see if I think that's what's actually fascinating is that Mixu just has no Ravagers. Like, he's only playing he's actually got extra gases up now, so I imagine we go a bit more Ravager heavy from here. Obviously, once you're maxed as well, you're kind of maintaining the gas. You're not building Roaches, so you can afford a few more Ravagers. It's a possibility as well, right? As you trade out, you can have some Ravagers in. Scarlet right now just aggressively chasing forward, though, saw the number advantage and leaps on it. And she does kind of get a few units traded off in her favor, and forces Mixu to take another step back for just a couple of moments there. Failing drop is going to succeed as well. Mixu loses 12 drones, so Scarlet, talking about her drone, she lost a couple drones along the way. Obviously was building some spines and stuff. She's now going to get tunneling claws and burrow, but also the Hydra Den. I actually fear that Scarlet almost tries to do a little bit too much all at once. Dives in. The Infestor does have a fungal. That would be an amazing fungal. Would have been better a moment sooner when she could have been in more of a concave to fight the units that were fungal, but still, it's good splash damage and it slows the retreat away. And as Mixu did split some Roaches down to the bottom right side, I'm not sure Scarlet has caught onto that, so she'll start to lose some drones over there. She loses the Infestors, unfortunately, just in front of the army. And there's the Roaches over here that are going to start being dealt with. The split away is good. She doesn't send too much, I would say, right now. So that works decently right now as the Roaches getting picked away at for a few moments. Roaches keep on chasing forward. Tunneling claws +2 Carapace. Burrow coming up as well. I mean, obviously, Scarlet losing drones gives Mixu the worker lead back in his favor. Again, Scarlet gonna have Burrow and Tunneling Claws. We'll see how else she can use that. Has to dodge forward away from the Biles. Has to be careful not to walk into her own Biles here. This was a much better fight for Mixu. Extra Biles coming down, but Scarlet might just get the numbers now. The big thing for Scarlet getting the numbers is that Mixu kind of stuck around. If he ran away already, then this would have been advantage. Scarlet loses 17 drones, but overall the worker counts even out. She's got Roaches burrowed across the map, and now Mixu has to deal with burrowed Roaches the whole time. She has to, he's going to have to stop to deal with, like, build Overseers and stuff as well. It's actually just a drop a load, but obviously the burrow and the Roaches will continue to do more and more. Scarlet starts to go all over the place. Extra Roaches showing up on that base we were just at previously. They're going to get cleaned up quickly. The Roaches in the main base is going to sit in the drop a load for now. Scarlet actually bringing her main army across the map, but she's actually at 150 army supplies, so I do not think this is a moment where Scarlet wants to attack. And she stops, she builds 2 Infestors, a few more Roaches. Gets back on track a little again. She actually really dipped down on army supply there, no? She just lost a lot of Roaches in quick succession trying to harass. Which is fine, but then you don't want to be trying to take a major fight at the same time as that. Just give Mixu a little bit of value back in the game. Resource lost is 24k to 20k. Scarlet's actually traded efficiently. Drop a Lord is going to go down 4 Roaches inside of it. These Roaches do well until the Burrow comes in, because then there's obviously no detection for Scarlet. She can burrow in return, but the Overseer shows up, and again, more Roaches in trouble. Nothing on the right side for Scarlet to try and capitalize on. She's taking her 5th hatchery. Mixu has the 5th hatchery, both of them taking the same 5th, so the base layout remains the same in this game. Also funny to see a longer ZVZ, right? Because it's like Zergs don't play with the group spread because the group spread helps their opponents as well. So you you don't go into that. There's a few hydras coming up. Obviously, Scarlet added that hydra on. I was a little afraid at one point that she was maybe doing a bit too much all at once. She got through that phase, and now she has the hydra den, so she can add some hydras up, but she still needs the upgrades for them. I mean, she doesn't have hive. I don't think lurkers are immediately on 9, but maybe we start to move toward that sort of position, right? Where hive comes online, you could get a lurker den up. It's such a long way to get there. Right now, I think Vipers might be just a nice addition. Get a couple of potential abducts on Ravagers, but also just Blinding Clouds on the army. Especially if you like Fungal Blinding Cloud combo, could be very deadly. And spellcasting combinations have always been great for the Zergs if you can pull them off. This Roach just realized, uh-oh, we're getting caught by the Overseers. Thinks he's going to get a dive towards a base. Oh, he can just kill a base and run for it, no? That's what he's going to try and do. Scarlet wants to try and cut him off. Yeah, needs to get some value in this. Uh-oh, Scarlet on the bottom side losing a hatchery as well. She will lose that. She needs to punish Mixu right now for this. She needs to get a good trade out of it. Probably, I don't know if she can. Because she's going into the Lurker Den and the Hive and investing into the future. What a horrible time to lose your extra bases, right? Because now all of a sudden you actually need to rebuild those bases and just let your investment play through. 16 Hydras on the way. I mean, if she gets to Lurkers, incredible. Mixu has no Hive, no Infestation Pits, so getting an answer to Lurkers, such as, well, they're basically looking at Vipers. That's a long way off right now. I mean, I do not mind that Scarlet's kind of attacking, but in a way I do, because she's also got a ton of Hydras in production that are not quick to come across the map just yet. I mean, I guess if she just starts morphing Lurkers immediately and even uses them without the upgrade, then maybe that's a factor. Obviously, you do want to get Seismic Spine started ASAP. But can't do that until Hive finished, so, and obviously the Lurker didn't finish too, so we can start that now. Like I say, she can morph some Lurkers, but she's also kind of low on money, so she's got to prioritize things here. Does prioritize the upgrade. I think that's the right choice. Like I say, I wouldn't hate to see a couple Lurkers added on, because a few Lurkers supported by this many other units is only going to provide splash that helps. Yeah, that's a nice fungal. Oh my god, the First of Val's in return got the Infester. Wow. Nice fungal. Skull wanted to dive and punish the fungal, but punished herself, losing the Infestors there is, I mean, an expense that's going to be difficult to replace. You do have a good gas count. Again, obviously, the bases being missing right now is an issue, and this base is going to go down again. Scarlet, I think, has crafted the better army, but is absolutely struggling on the economy of this game. Both the bases are going to go down, same as what we saw about a minute ago. Roach Hydra here will be better to fight, but right now it's starting to turn into a numbers game where unless Scarlet can just, I mean, unless Lurkers really carry, I think Scarlet's in a ton of trouble. I'm not sure she can really do enough with the Lurkers or get enough up even to make a difference. Let's see. Obviously, at this stage, she's just struggling to mine. She doesn't have the bases to mine from. And so if you don't have those bases to mine from, you end up in a whole bunch of trouble. And that's more or less just what's happening at the moment. Like this burrow up, and we're going to obviously see them going to have to be a big part of the defense here. That bottom right base goes down again. Looks like Scarlet's going to focus on keeping the left side base alive, but that is the base that's already mined a bit more, so it's the worst base to actually get back on track because the bottom right base is much fresher. Meanwhile, Mixu is a 6-base Zerg player. He's not being hit economically at all. And as his Lurker Den comes online, I don't think there's really a fair comparison here. Scarlet builds a bunch of Lurkers. I think she actually just has to go. Like, it's scary to just unburrow your Lurkers and try and walk across the map, but I think if you do anything else right now, I think you're just losing the game. I think you've got to go and take advantage of your Lurker lead while you've got it in this very moment. Because this game's obviously gone badly for you. Your opponent's mining a crap ton. If you do nothing at all right now, Mixu just starts to build his own Lurkers, gets range. You know, he catches up in the tech game. And that's the one advantage that Scarlet has. Army is not maxed out, but it's close enough to it. Lurkers can definitely make up for it. It's definitely, you know, you look at Army value, and it's actually favorable to Scarlet. So, like I said, I think it's time we go and make use of that. She's also going to have a +3 missile upgrade in her favor. The Scarlet recognize the need to go. Roach's Hydra's Ravager stepping up. We are going to be seeing the Vipers out of position. It's not the fight you want as Scarlet. You need the Lurkers to help out. The Infestors on the right side, left side as well. Gonna abduct a few units into the lurkers. That was not it. That was not it at all. Scarlet just... Army was just disjointed. A bunch of stuff on the right side ends up getting punished. We're gonna try and play catch-up over here. Blinding Cloud. I mean, guess what? This base is going down again. We're abducting with the Vipers to try and get some efficiency out of it. That was not it. I mean, I agree with the idea of having to try and attack. But we needed something better than that, as we are going to see these lurkers are going to kind of catch this army. We're just going to try and break through this. That's not going to go well for you. Mixu is going to lose a lot of supply in the end of this. So despite the disaster... I mean, this is why it was going to be so good for Scarlet to get to the other side of the map and to make something happen. Because there was a genuine chance that with the lurkers, she was going to be able to succeed. She doesn't have the detection here to deal with these units if they are burrowed. Although, there we go. We do see the Overseer showing up, so we'll be okay in the end. Slowly getting those kills. Thing is, Mixu has a bunch of units now himself, including his own lurkers. They don't have seismic spines yet. Still think Mixu's a little bit behind on the tech, but not as badly as it was once upon a time. Scarlet, can she scrap her way back into this game? She's back onto that base on the left side. She's expanding elsewhere, trying to get bases online in a good enough manner for her to truly stay in this game. It's difficult, but she's making one of the better goes of it that we're going to see. One Roach left in that corner. Army supply is actually very close again. As the lurkers here fight back. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great catch from Mixu, but he ended up getting cornered. If he caught those units and found a way out, it would have been so much nicer. Scarlet has the Vipers as well, and Vipers go a long way in these scenarios because of the ability to abduct and Blinding Cloud. There are 2 Vipers from Mixu, actually, so now there's actually more Vipers from Mixu than Scarlet, so that's problematic as well. Scarlet's actually going to go and take these lurkers out the other side, so she's going to try and make a play here. There's one lurker in position. We'll just burrow up and kill that immediately, or in a second. A couple queens will not make much of a difference. Scarlet now pushing the top side. Mixu's getting a taste of his own medicine. Big Zerg counterattacks and getting a little bit out position and out microed here. Nice transfusion to save that lurker. Does lose the base in the top left. There's another far top left base as well. Scarlet's starting to lose her base on the left side also to an attack from Mixu. So this is just starting to be utter chaos. And I don't think Scarlet can save this base, but she can clean up these units. The lurker actually unburrows, which is maybe unnecessary. And maybe this base would have been good just to get rid of a Scarlet. She is setting up on that bottom right side and putting a lot of attention in here. As these lurkers try and edge forwards. A little awkward. Banning and abduct would be really nice, yeah. Wow, Mixu's actually going to GG out. Wow. The army supplies are still kind of similar, but I guess Mixu just has no mining. So he decides to say GG, and he's just going to get out of this game, and Scarlet is going to turn it around and get the win. I was not expecting the GG in that moment because there was still the supply there for Mixu, but he was out-lurkered, and I think out-lurkered and just can't really deal with the lurkers because of it. Damn crazy. What a game. What a game. Mixu played his heart out and put himself in some great positions, but could not deal with the tech army of Scarlet in the end, even when he got his own base up. Even when he got his own tech up, sorry. Was not quite enough. Alright. We'll get video started for our last series of round 2, which is going to be Heromarine versus Goblin. Coming up next, a rematch from that best of 7 qualifying matchup into the best of 7 qualifying matchup into the eSports World Cup. And after this match, we will see what the round 3 matchups are as well. Very exciting. Very exciting. Hello, Ellie. What were you just... I just heard you barking. What are you barking for? What are you barking for? Hey? What do you have to say for yourself? Oh, big yawn. Yeah, you realize I'm working. You're just gonna leave. What a shocker. Incorporeal, Pylon getting vetoed out. Get ready to go, go, go. Oh. It's been another fun day of European League. Yesterday was really fast. Today's been a bit more kind of, you know, we're gonna be like 3 to 3.5 hours. I'm okay with that for 6 best of 3s. That's nice. Super excited to see what our round 3 matchups look like. Again, they will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday, so get excited for that. Should be a bunch of fun. Yeah, like I said, we'll see what the matches are going to be when we get out of this this matchup. Have I read any StarCraft book? No, I have not. I have a bunch of them on my shelf over here. They're out of camera view, but I haven't read them. They're not actually mine. They're actually Helen's. She let me have them for the StarCraft display. Probably needs a bit of a refresh, to be honest. I've not moved stuff around in so long. Not that we have like a bunch of new StarCraft stuff. Well, we actually have a few little StarCraft things that are new, but yeah, probably need a bit of a probably do with a bit of a refresh on the shelf. Gonna get to that at some point. What's up, Salt8Val0? Thank you so much for the Prime sub, fresh and new. Thank you so much. Priming us up. If you've got a Prime sub, be like Salt and support the channel with it for free today. Appreciate it. Helen's the true SCT fan. I just posed. Yeah. Something like that. Ultra Love going to be map 1, by the way. It's actually a pretty nasty map for some of the tank pushes. So, see what happens. Obviously, this is just the best of 3. Goblin's been doing okay against Heromarine lately. Apart from that best of 7 where he had the lead and it fell apart for him. Second map, talk map. Third map, ley lines. Perfect. Move Heromarine up, and we should just be good to go. One last best of 3 today, guys. We'll be into this momentarily. Ready and go. Gets called. Let's click start. Hey, Polralos. Thank you so much for the Prime sub as well. I super appreciate it. We are on our way back to 600 subs, guys. Amazing. I love that. That's it. We had such an inactive last couple of weeks, honestly. Like, it's so good to see the sub count bounce up again so quickly. So, thank you so much for the love and support. Appreciate you guys keeping the support going even when we're not active every single day. Again, it's just tough at the moment with all the other events going on, like Home Story and Bulgaria and all that kind of stuff. Build up to EWC qualifiers and so on. So, yeah, appreciate the support. Yo, Fredmo as well, coming in with the 9-month resub on the Prime as we get into our final matchup of round 2 of the WardiTV European League. In the top right-hand corner, the blue Protoss player, he is Goblin. Who did Goblin play round 1? It was, Nicorakt. Yeah, Nicorakt was a little bit of... Oh, yeah, he got the mouse issue. So he played Nicorakt round 1, got a pretty cozy win. Heromarine probably the most comfortable win of round 1 against Hydra. That was maybe the biggest mismatch we had in the first round, to be fair. Heromarine very comfortably cruised through there. There's going to be much more of a challenge as they play each other. Obviously, they played each other in that best of 7 a while back. Biggest best of 7 of Goblin's career. Did not go his way. Started out 2-0, lost 4 in a row, lost all momentum. It was such a shame because I like to cheer for the underdog. It's great to see Heromarine at EWC. I'm not upset about that. Just, it's always cool to see the underdog story or the player you're not expecting to maybe make it, right? And yeah. Wondering if Heromarine is going to go for the Drilling Claws opener. He's been using that a lot against Protoss. Obviously, he does have EWC to prep for, so he does not necessarily want to, you know, show what he's up to, right? He does not necessarily want to show his builds. So there is kind of a factor there where maybe he's just going to go into that one build he has been showing a lot of at Home Story. And maybe there's a possibility, you know, maybe there's a possibility to mix it up a bit, but I would imagine that's kind of the idea at the moment. As we get settled down for this game 1 here on Ultra Love. Factory comes down, Orbital and the Reaper coming up. The Reaper coming through, Reaper's about halfway done, Factory still building. We just have the Cybercore and the Nexus continue to build as well. So we got that going, we drop a Mule into place. Tuvia, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the 62-month resub. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for 62 months of supporting the stream. Super appreciated. Thank you so much. Hell yeah. Love that. Well, that factory is going to be continuing by. The Tech Lab coming up. CC coming into play. Let's just see the Reaper hopping by, getting the pylon, and into the main base to go after a few of those probes. So we're going to shoot. Reaper taking some damage. It's going to get that pushed away for a couple of moments, so nothing too surprising, nothing too wild. The game setup continues. And yeah, Reaper again tonight. I mean, obviously the Cyclone coming up. This is not going to be the Drilling Claws. So just going to see the Cyclone, the Starport coming online. We got a reactor on as well to the barracks. And a hallucination from Goblin to see what is going on. He'll go into Twilight Council. Goblin has been pretty consistently playing Blink into like charge and just kind of general aggression from there. As the Cyclone locks onto that hallucination, tries to deny as much info as he can. And Cyberfusion, thank you so much as well for the 9-month resub on the Prime. Many thanks for all the amazing SC2 content. No worries. Thank you so much for supporting it with the Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll keep it going as long as you guys keep supporting it. You know the drill. Hallucination sees the cloaking starting on the starport. We'll see if we keep that. There's another hallucination coming. He'll know where to scout for as well to see if that upgrade is still researching or not. It's probably the best thing he can see right now, whether he truly needs to prep for Cloak Banshees. He does not have a robo yet, as he adds on the 2 additional gateways, so you kind of need to fix that. Like, I feel like Goblin is scouting it so much, he's like, surely you... it's almost like, surely you're just going to cancel it. You know it. You know that I know it's coming. But he's, I mean, Heromarine just going to keep it producing, and Goblin is going to get the robo on the way, so should be able to get that detection available sooner rather than later. Cyclone moving up the left side, Banshee coming across. You see a couple of Stalkers from Goblin heading straight through the middle of the map, so they're going to go across to the other side. You have a Nexus right there that's going to be really in trouble. The Cyclone locks onto a probe, gets a kill. Nothing too serious. The Banshees have that cloak finishing up. We're going to move into position. A robo only just finished, so definitely an opportunity for the Banshees to deliver a little bit of pain. It's going to be in the back of the natural, already killing some probes. The probes just pull away. There is a battery, so kind of need the double Banshee to do any more there, but you caused lost mining time. And we did finish the cloak. We're now going to go, oh, Hyperflight Rotors. Oh, I see. It's that kind of a game, huh? Alright, we're actually going to play mech with the Hyperflight Rotor Banshees as a way to kind of lead us into it as well. Well, let's see how this goes. Let's see if Heromarine can make it work. What's up, Chamilitary? Thank you so much for the Prime sub also. Once more, thank you for supporting. Thank you for using your Prime on the channel. I'm really digging out all the Primes right now. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful day to use it, because if you've not already used your Prime, it's going unused, and it's going to be even longer until you can use it again, so get them Prime subs used up if you've got them, guys. Alright, Banshee's Cloak. 2 at once is obviously scary, because you will one-shot workers. Battery does not make a difference here. Stalkers show up, and the first Banshee is gone. Yes, it does go down. I was going to say, please don't not kill it after I say it's gone. You know, really emphasize that one. For it to be wrong would have been a little embarrassing, as the extra factories come up, and the mech truly begins. I mean, we do have the Magfield Accelerator on the way up. Again, Banshee Cyclone on the way through. 2 more factories being added. We do have our little push up here. The Stalkers attacking in. The tanks to return fire. Robobait, Forge, Gateways, Charge. All of that continue to come up and online. We just have the factory landing back onto the reactor once again. So just going to get that in position. Cyclone is still coming through. Banshee the Hellions coming up. The factory will move over to the side for a moment. Charge going to continue by. The +1 attack on the way up. Still got the Robobay Stalkers coming online as well. The Banshees will make their way to the front. Stalkers already going to be taking some damage. They're having to blink away. Obviously with the Hyperflight Rotors, you got that speed to chase them down. And we're gonna... I'm surprised we didn't target the lower HP ones in the front there. Maybe he just felt he could get them anyway. As he's going to chase them now, so he's going to end up getting 3 Stalker kills. Make it 4 with the Banshees, man. Some damage done. Gotta really respect these Banshees at this point. They have stupid DPS. Like, if you just had like a stat sheet of the Banshee, It's kind of stupid how good they are, you know? It's kind of silly. Armory coming up, factory coming in. Gonna see a couple depots on the way about. Magfield Accelerator and Infernal Pre-Igniter coming up as well. Just gonna see the Marine Banshee tank heading down back to the other side for a couple of moments. Armory coming up as well. I'm just gonna be seeing a couple of refineries still building. The Banshee's gonna fire. The Sentry already taking shots. Gonna be seeing a couple of Stalkers taking hits as well. I mean, Heromarine is just absolutely smacking the units that show up. Okay, the Zealot's got a few SCVs and they take a little bit longer to get rid of. As Blue Flame comes online, we'll get a better answer to the Zealots. But getting extended thermal lens, I don't know if Colossus can be fun. I mean, a lot of the time I think we kind of usually want to see maybe the like Immortals and Archons and just charge shots in general can do very well. I guess against Hellion Cyclone mech, you know, having the Colossus is nice as well. Very unlucky, by the way. So many of those Banshees super low, we just didn't get rid of any of them. Would it be nice to get rid of the couple? Just that, you know, lack of DPS from those Banshees for the next few moments while you have to rebuild them or not rebuild them would have been nice. Now the first Colossus just gets overwhelmed as well. Goblin misreading this scenario. I don't know if he ever should have been, you know, attacking forward this aggressively again. But he really believed in his ability to just go there, and it wasn't there. The opportunity was not real. There's 2 more SCVs go down. We're just going to be seeing a couple of Banshees. And Cyclones continuing to fight. Next Cyclones continuing through. Vikings and Hellions continuing up as well. Production resumes. I mean, Goblin has just given away way too many units. It's not really much else to say, right? Like, we have just given up so many forces so far. Really not ideal. There's a +2 attack. The cannons coming up. Extra Hellions and Cyclones building through. A couple of additional factories coming in also. +1 vehicle weapons. Smart servos also on the way in. Cyclones and company continue to build on by. Hellions building forward as well. Cyclones continuing up, a couple of Vikings continuing by, 2 more factories continuing to build. And the +2 still building, army continuing out into the center of the map, gateways and the robo facility coming by as well. Zealot Stalker will move around here, and actually, I mean, we're going to look for a fight. This is the kind of fight which I actually think is great for you as Goblin if you had like double the supply, because he's literally half the army supply this opponent. Like, there's just no way. He just lost way too much the entire game. Like, he took... Like, don't get me wrong, at first it was just, like, good play from Heromarine, but I think Goblin took a lot of bad fights that were completely unneeded to be taken. Like, the pushes into the third base of Heromarine were completely unnecessary, and he let out so many units from it. And right now, he's, I don't think he's got any hope in hell of fighting this mech army. Mech is going to get a win versus Protoss today, guys. That's how you know it's a real good day of the European League. The Disruptor is also just going to be denied. Actually does get the shot off. A little bit of battery healing kept it alive a little longer. So the robo facilities are going to be in trouble now. You cannot win this. I mean, you couldn't win this game before, I don't think. You're definitely not going to win it without robo support. And have a few SCVs going down, but not as many as the probes that have fallen. The Zealots are useless running into Blue Flame Hellbats like this. And Heromarine is in the natural, dominating Goblin in this opening game of the best of 3 Cyclones. And the rest continue to do their thing. GG gets called, and Heromarine will take game number 1 of this best of 3. Pretty darn dominant performance for mech, especially for mech. Like, usually mech is like this composition that stumbles and falls to victory a lot of the time. Like, a mech army that just kind of waltzes across the map and has a good time is very rarely heard of, I feel like. So, a little crazy. As, that almost seemed too easy for mech, you know? Fuck mech for map 2. We'll get this hosted, and we'll have our second game of this best of 3 ready to go in just a couple of moments. Just waiting for Goblin. Oh, I got him up there before the Terran set in. Perfect. Alright, ready up from Goblin. Go from Heromarine. And game number 2 of this best of 3 is beginning. Again, it's exciting because after this we actually do get to see the, yeah, after this we do get to see the, my brain working, actually, is what you're going to get to see. We get to see the matchups for round 3 as well, so, yeah. Right now we have, you know, a bunch of guys at the 2-0. Yeah, it's just gonna be cool to see who plays who. It's gonna be exciting. We'll just wait to talk about it for the series den, though. As we have in the top right-hand side, down a map, the blue Protoss player is Goblin. Bottom left, our red Terran is going to be Heromarine. Super excited to see if he has something creative for us in a second game now, or if he's going to completely steer away from the mech and do something a little bit more traditional from here on out for the rest of the series, which might just be this single game, of course. Just a best of 3, guys. Everything in European League until playoffs is best of 3. Gateway coming up, probe coming up, barracks on the way in. Get that settled down early. SCV's coming around, get a second gas started from Heromarine. Is now the time he goes to the Drill and Claw build? That'd be kind of wild, wouldn't it? Up in the main, I'm going to drop a Cyber Core down. Reaper is already on the way up here as well. No surprises, no proxies. Obviously, is double gas from Heromarine, so you know he's playing a little bit more aggressively, but that's pretty much all we know for the moment. And Cyber Core and Nexus both continuing through and getting set up for a couple moments. Got that all underway. Coming about, Reaper coming through. It's going to be a second Reaper. I mean, double gas, not too surprising that we're going to see continued gas unit production. So that shouldn't come as too much of a surprise right off the bat. Reaper's still stepping across. And our factory is about to finish up. The command center starting. Nexus building, as we do have a couple of probes are going to be there. The Stalker going to get some good damage on the Reaper. Good body blocking for a moment. I think it's good enough, though. And he has delayed the Reaper's escape enough to get the kill. So Reaper goes down. If you're going to make multiple Reapers in a Hellion, you generally would have wanted those to gather together and, you know, do their thing and, you know, have some potential to really stack up together and strike and deal some damage. Twilight Council will build. The starport is coming online. See the reactor and tech lab continue to produce for the moment. Command center setting up on the natural. Yeah, the Twilight Council are currently about halfway done. Stalker and the Wolf Gate still building. The Hallucination will step across the map. And a Cyclone, another Marine, all going to build as well for the moment. So yeah, Cyclone and 2 Marines all coming up. Just going to be seeing the Stalker and Sentry there to play a bit of defense. Not going to let those early pesky Terran units in to do too much damage or anything. And the Hallucination will dive straight into the main base. Also looking to see a full scout of what's going on. Sees the, you know, no tech lab, no reactor starport. See that that's producing, so you get a pretty good idea of what this can be. It's either a tank or a Cyclone drop, most likely. Obviously, a Viking would be pretty darn wild at this point, so yeah, pretty much a good scout from Goblin. You piece together and then use some logic as to what is typically going to happen in this scenario. You can pretty much make a good guess of what's about to come and hit you in the face, or not quite in the face, but maybe around the back, because that medevac's going to go one way while the Reaper Hellion maybe tries to focus your units elsewhere. Medevac's actually going to go up top side, so actually goes toward the Reaper and Hellion. We'll see. I mean, obviously, you always do want to kind of make a little bit of an RNG kind of move in terms of where is this drop going to hit. Like, if you do it the same kind of direction toward the main every time, it's very predictable. So coming towards, like, the natural drop is, you know, a little bit of a way to mix it up and to maybe make this a little bit of a different success story as the medevac unloads. Marines and the Cyclone going to lock on. A couple of those probes already going down. And chased away, as you can see. The Reaper Hellion actually goes to the third base, where we are going to see a couple of probes going down as well, so they're now going to come to the front, but that battery is going to do a little bit too much. Heromarine now jumps into the main base, where the Stalkers and Sentries are going to be pretty quick to come and respond, but not overly quick, I guess. I mean, more workers going down. Got to be careful. The power of the Cyclone is kind of huge, and 6 workers already dropping. Make it 7, 8, 9. The damage is building, as Heromarine gets a great early game starting point. Blink done, but the Stalkers aren't there to blink for the medevac, and that means 9 workers killed, and we lost the 2 Reapers and the Hellion, and 1 Marine. As you can probably imagine, that's not a great start here from Goblin, who just takes a little bit too much early damage right off the bat. That is going to be a little bit tough for you as the cloaking continues up. Still got the Banshee tank and Marines continuing through. The cloak is going to be finished very shortly. Command Center and the SCV is building as we speak. And again, the Hyperfly Rotors is coming up, so Heromarine just says, cool, good opening. Has 2 more of the same. This time he already has the cloak, and there's already a Banshee in the natural, I believe, getting some workers as the Cyclone and Marines here put some work in too. Goblin having a rough opening, is just not prepared for this. He's not even realizing the Banshee's here, I don't think. The probes aren't pulling away. He pulls them away now. There's already 9 more workers killed. There's an Observer, and there is a battery as well, so the Banshee has to just try and make a getaway. Ideally, you keep the Banshee alive because you're making Hyperfly Rotors, so it's going to be even better deeper in the game. But yeah, this is really brutal. We do lose everything as Heromarine. So this time around, you kill 9 workers, but you lose the Banshee and all the and the Medivac and all the other units. But I think the damage done really is, because you've done 18 workers of damage over time now, it's probably going to be a little bit too much. Like, that is pretty brutal. Cyclone and the Hyperfly Rotors continue in. Just going to see a couple shots coming down, tank shots onto the Stalkers. Marines and the Banshee hanging about. Charge gateways building up as we speak. The factory going to move away from the front, going to get to the back, and the tech lab will go down on it. Two additional factories coming through, as obviously the mech play continues up, and a lot of the time it's say, okay, we're going mech. To me this means that we've got a chance still as the Protoss player, but after the way that first game went, I'm not super convinced that my anti-mech bias is really going to be worth spouting here, because it was a pretty strong showing. Now, I do still think Goblin took a lot of unnecessarily bad fights. I think we're already at a point where this opening has been weak enough that actually the mech has a pretty good shot already, just because, you're very late to charge, you're very late to the Robo Bay. Like, Goblin's going to be very late to a lot of the things that could have maybe already started harassing and doing well here. Like, you're still just on Stalkers when you could have been on so much else. And once again, the Banshee's just going to come forward with Hyperfly Rotors, and low HP Stalker's going to get chased. They blink away, and I think we're going to save most of them. We don't lose any extras, so some of the little things are being tidied up by Goblin. Things are going better than they did before. But, yeah, it's definitely hard to count out a Heromarine who already won the first game with this mech and has had such a tremendous start here in game number 2. +1 vehicle weapons, Infernal Pre-Igniter, Magfield Accelerator, additional Cyclones in production. Stalker Immortal taking some steps forward. And Cyclones are going to go and lock on a little bit. Going to go after the Stalkers. Stalkers did get 1 Cyclone already. Looks like Goblin has the same ideas before, which is that he just wants to start being aggressive into this setup. Feels like the gateway unit should be able to trade. And I think maybe they could have done, if he wasn't already significantly behind from the start, maybe this time he just waits for the move out rather than just kind of pushing the issue and shoving in. Or he attacks in here and he has a chance to move toward the natural too. Maybe that's a better idea. Just sift a few Zealots into the natural, force the Terran to come and respond to that, and just go across the map, and they're going to start finding corners of openings. And actually, just in this main mineral line, they can just kill a bunch of probes as well. There's a battery, and the battery will do some work as the probes pull away, but honestly, you could continue to chase them. Heromarine just playing it cautiously, though, keeping the Banshees alive. Going to have the Prism going to get into the main. Super low because we took a bunch of damage initially. It's going to take 1 Cyclone lock on to get rid of it. We actually just cancelled the warp in early. Banshee's even just still finding damage. Doesn't even have to be probes, right? Just pylons around the edges. They're just being annoying. As the Stalkers blink in, there is an Observer on the way over. I was going to say, it was not a bad blink. It was just the Observer was a little slow to catch up. Heretic boosters, anyone? Some Observer speed, please? Might actually genuinely be kind of useful. Medivac's actually thinking of dropping on top of that army. There's the jump into the natural, by the way, so a bunch of units move into the natural. That's going to give you an opportunity as Goblin to maybe get some work done, but the Hellbats so far just going to tank those Zealots, and the Zealots have nowhere good to go. They're going to have to recall away. How many do we get away with? 2? It's really not a lot. It's not a lot of preservation at all. Once more, Goblin is bleeding out units. He is on his way to disrupt us much more quickly this game, so he's going to use those as his tech choice to try and maybe stand up to this opposition of mech, but not gonna lie, I'm not convinced yet. I feel like there's some more to be seen still. I think there's a Cyclone stepping up. Medevac's coming over, Cyclone's getting some lock-ons. Push this back, one Stalker down, the rest of the Cyclones continue to produce on through here currently. Nice little scan coming about. What's up, Jeff? Thank you so much for the 55-month resub on the Prime. As Heromarine is going to drop the Hellbats on top of this army, the first Disruptor shot does land, hitting a good chunk of the Cyclones. They're going to take some damage, but Heromarines' army supply is just insane in comparison to Goblins. 102 to 20, and even with the Warbins into the fight, it was not enough. Heromarine will take it, and it's a 2-0 for him to go 2-0 in this group, which, as we've mentioned, is a pretty big deal as well, because that really puts you in a great position to continue advancing on through. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alrighty, guys. We are going to take a couple of moments to run some ads, because they're 2 minutes away from running anyway. And then I'm going to show you guys the matchups for round 3. As Scarlet, thank you so much for the gifted subs. 10 of them going out to Aghanim 157, Zarini, Reflex RRRR, Proverbial Boomer, Dr. Baphomet, X Valinar X 917888465, Warnull, Smart Shaded SE2, and to Lortal. Get some love in the chat for Scaffler with the 10 gifted subs. Thank you so very much. And Captain Heck gonna gift the 10 subs as well. It's actually gonna push us over 600. That's crazy. 10 gifted subs going out to HC Fox, Shadow Wraith, Kwani on Stim, Spyriel, T-Man 1973, Gigan 420, Fan of 57, Toku 123, Dre TC, and Kaviji. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs from each of you guys. Alright, guys, we are going to get, like I say, a moment or two, and then we're going to have a look and see what our next round matchups are going to be. I can see them already. Some interesting ones, actually. There's a lot of mirror matchups this time, I think. Hello, Ellie. You excited? What's up? What's up? You want to say hi to the stream? Come say hi to the stream. You can jump up. No? Come on. Jump up. There we go. Oh, hold me to death on the way. Perfect. There you go. Say hi to the stream. Say hello to everybody. You could look a little happier about it, babes. Go on, get the smile out. Get the smile out. Ooh, you're really being resilient today, aren't you? You really don't want to be happy on stream. Fair enough. Fair enough. Come down then. I'll be done in a minute. I'll come play. Alrighty, guys. A few seconds, lads. Let's get the round 3 matchups up on screen. We don't know the order of these in terms of them being played yet, but these are the matches that will happen in round 3. So let me just close a couple of things, and let's have a peek at what round 3 looks like. So it's going to be the following players. The 2-0 players will play out like this: Harstum versus MaxPax, Skillis versus Euthermal. I think that one's actually very cool. Heromarine versus Bjorn. And then at the, I guess 0-2 players are going to be Fant against Mixu, Geralt versus BabyMarine. BabyMarine's not had a good time, by the way. MaxPax into Showtime into Geralt. Like, Geralt, I think, is the strongest player at 0-2. Like, BabyMarine could not have had a worse sequence of opponents in this tournament. And Hydra versus Art as well. And then all of the 1-1 players, Christiana versus Young Yakov. That's actually a very fun PvZ. Shameless versus Scarlet, I also think a very fun PvZ. Percival versus Nikarak, it's going to be some TVT. Goblin versus Showtime for some PvP. That's rough. One of those guys going to go to 1-2. Mana versus Sebastes. And Jumi versus Night Phoenix. It's a lot of PvP this time, no? 1, 2, 3 PvPs and 2 TVTs. 4 PvPs and 2 TVTs. It's a little bit mirror matchup heavy this time, but so be it. So those are the matchups, guys. That's what the next round will look like. That will be played on Tuesday and Wednesday. So yeah. I will get that all sorted for you guys. I've got to go and obviously get the players their info in terms of who plays when and where. So I'm gonna go sort that out, send it out to the players, and then yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm gonna go and get that done, guys. So we'll be back tomorrow. Though is WardiTV Mondays, so it's actually on a Monday as well. Would you believe it? So WardiTV Mondays 43 tomorrow. If you guys want to join us for that, would be great to see you there. Obviously, we'll be live at the usual time, and yeah. So yeah, WardiTV Mondays tomorrow, WardiTV European League Tuesday and Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you guys tomorrow for more StarCraft 2. I've already ran ads, so I will get that. I will just find someone to host, actually. Who are we going to host? Cranky Ducklings casting the Krakow qualifier. Sounds amazing. Let's do it. Let's send it. Alright, you guys enjoy the Cranky Ducklings. I appreciate you all. I will see you guys tomorrow for more StarCraft 2. And yeah, thank you so much for the subs again. We're at 600. What an amazing way to end the day. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for more StarCraft. Bye.